Hi, this is the AM News on the AM Show. Details now. The priest of St. James Seminary Senior High School, Father Sixtus Evans Apiatreme, has admonished Ghanaians to be prepared for life's uncertainties by living a worthy lifestyle to please God. Father Sixtus was speaking at a Requiem Mass in Sunyani on Wednesday night for his former classmate, squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala, who died with 7 others in that helicopter crash last week. Former mates of the late pilot shared some fond memories and precious memorable captures in this report.
Squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala completed St. James Seminary Senior High School at Abisim near Sunyani in the Bono region 2007. On July 22, 2025, Peter flew a helicopter over the school and shared an area video with his former mates. He promised his mate, Father Sixtus Evans Apiatreme, who is now a priest at the school, that he would be back to see him. But 2 weeks later, squadron leader Anala tragically died in the August 6 helicopter crash at Adansi with 7 others, including 2 ministers of state.
Peter was a classmate who was an interesting person. He had a sense of humor that we all admired a lot. And to lose such a person is not easy at all. It's very painful.
A solemn Requiem Mass by the old student of St. James in Peter's honor was attended by many, including former Attorney General Alfred Tuanyeboa. Some of his mates shared their reflections.
We were admitted into St. James as seminarians, so we were in the seminarians dormitory. So he was a very nice person, jovial. He has this bubbly personality. Peter's death, it's a big blow.
Peter was a dedicated member. In fact, on our pages, he's always around. Peter was serving the nation. He served well. So we are very sad.
Father Sixtus in his sermon said, we must be prepared at all times by living a worthy lifestyle.
What we are seeing today is also a caution to all of us that this life is unpredictable. Anything can happen to us. We don't know what is in the next hour, so it can happen to all of us. That is why we also need to prepare ourselves all the time, trying to be in good relationship with other people, just as he did, all the time, so that when our time comes, we will not be found wanting. Let us pray that God will find a better place for Peter.
A state funeral is slated for August 15, 2025. Precious Semevo Joy News, Sunyani.
Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapong, has shed light on the challenging circumstances surrounding the transportation of remains from the helicopter crash site in Adansi. He says, contrary to speculation, body bags were indeed available at the scene, but the extreme heat of the remains rendered them unsuitable for use. Instead, cocoa sacks were utilized to convey the remains, sparking controversy over the dignity of the victims. Speaking to journalists here in Accra, the Chief of Defense Staff explained that the intense heat of the remains made traditional body bags impractical, leading to the unconventional use of cocoa sacks. And Collins Frimpong has more in this report.
The remains from the Z9 helicopter crash placed in cocoa sacks sparked public debates. But Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapong, told the media body bags were available, but the remains were too hot to use them.
We had to do the recovery effort with the available and appropriate material we have on the ground. We had some body bags at the scene, but the remains were so heated that it was not conducive for the bags to be used. It was in a thick forest, it was getting late. We had the option of leaving our remains there to the following day, and we know what could have happened to the bodies.
The Ghana Armed Forces has now secured approval from international institutions to join a high-powered board of inquiry probing the crash. Deputy Defense Minister Bruja Jemfi told the Ga Traditional House of Chiefs the team is working with top global investigators to determine the cause.
We also want to assure you that the Ghana Armed Forces have already begun investigations into the incident. We have made requests for international collaboration, and we have received positive response in that regard. And so we want to assure you, our chiefs, that nothing will be covered, it will be transparent, and the public, Ghanaian public, will know exactly what happened and the cause of this tragic accident.
Security expert Dr. Victor Doke says the move for foreign assistance strengthens rather than undermines Ghana's capabilities.
In this case, now what I see, in my opinion, is that the investigations with regards to collaboration with international agencies will bring some sort of an enhanced process. Now, it doesn't mean that we do not have the capacity to do that. There may be some challenges with regards to equipment to ascertain or to verify, to do a forensic analysis, which is not available. But that does not mean we cannot seek for international assistance.
Aviation specialist Professor Daniel Kwesi Ejekum has also outlined the technical areas the international investigators will examine.
What we have now in terms of recovering the flight data recorders and the cockpit voice recorders, we should be able to get the original equipment manufacturer and maybe an accredited lab to be able to have the hardware and the software to be able to extract the data. And then we'll look at some of the performance parameters in terms of the airspeed. And it's not only the flight data recorder that is going to tell investigators, give them an idea of some of the causal and contributing factors. We are going to look at the air crew, their personal data in terms of their medical records, their training records. I mean, trying to understand what was going on in the minds of the flight crew. The FDR gives you factual data, but you also triangulate it with all these other data to build a holistic picture, which then gives the investigators, we call it findings. So we'll come up with the findings, and then based on that, we build probable hypotheses as to why and how this happened.
Now, the IGP's Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force yesterday faced intense resistance from angry illegal miners in Bonteso, near Manson-Kranta in the Ashanti region, as they were pelted with stones. The Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force seized one excavator from the illegal mining site, but the operation was met with aggression from the community, led by the area's Assembly member, Patrick Asare. Let's tell you more in this report.
The IGP's Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force came under attack today as angry illegal miners led by the Assembly member pelted them with stones after the team seized one excavator from an illegal mining site at Bonteso close to Manson-Kranta in the Ashanti region. The team came under attack by almost large crowd from the community pelting stones in an attempt to attack the team. The team is seen firing warning shots to disperse them, but they kept coming. Leader of the team, ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil, and Sergeant Aglekpe Mawena Yao sustained some injuries. They managed to arrest the Assembly member for the area, Patrick Asare, and two others, Osevasco and Akwesi Amponsa. After a series of warning shots and targeted arrests, the task force managed to control the situation, dispersed the hostile crowd, and transported the seized excavator to the Manson Edubia police station. They had to leave one excavator at the site due to the hostile situation. The Manson area is noted for years of extreme illegal mining, destroying farmlands and polluting streams there.
In other stories, if Adobia can just come down for me, Ghana and its stakeholders are being urged to place industrialization at the heart of efforts to advance the country's green energy transition agenda. Speaking at a climate change and green energy engagement organized by CASA Initiative Ghana in Cape Coast, the head of nuclear and emerging green technologies at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Robert Sogbaji, stressed that the global economy is being shaped by the energy transition and called on stakeholders to integrate industrial initiatives such as refineries into the National Green Energy Transition Plan. Abigail Isalin-Krumah has more.
CASA Initiative Ghana is a natural resource and environment NRE governance civil society platform operating in 7 NRE thematic sectors. In Cape Coast, the initiative led an engagement on climate change and Ghana's energy transition agenda with civil society and faith-based organizations. According to Jonathan Coker, the coordinator for the initiative, the engagement is to ensure inclusivity in climate change conversations, indicating that the mission is to make the understanding of Ghana's energy transition agenda easier.
We are intentionally engaging these stakeholders to bring to them an understanding of the energy transition plan for Ghana and how the Ministry of Energy is taking steps to make sure Ghana achieves its energy transition and climate change targets under the UNFCCC. So the agenda is to break down the national energy transition framework and the agenda to the level of understanding of these stakeholders and how they can find entry point to support government in the implementation of this agenda. Going forward, the little things we can do in our own communities to reduce emissions. So talk about the cutting of our forests, talking about, emissions that are coming from our agricultural sector, the methane that is coming from animals. So what we need to understand first, then we can take steps to reduce the emissions that are coming from our activities as local level stakeholders. So that is the understanding we are getting here today. From here, we'll take steps to implement some of these actions in our own small ways.
Dr. Robert Sogbaji, the head in charge of nuclear and emerging green technologies at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, noted the significance of green transition while urging stakeholders to undertake industrial revolution.
Energy transition is real. If you don't transition now, we will transition in the near future because the world will force you to transition. We have what we call the green trade, where you all produce that you have must come from clean energy production. What our advice is that we shouldn't be a net market of importing clean energy products, but industrial revolution must come in. The energy transition should lead to industrial revolution where we should build refineries of clean critical minerals. We should also build the products, and we should also make sure that we are consumers of the product of clean energy technologies that we have in Ghana in terms of wind turbines, electric vehicles, solar panels, and batteries for the technologies that are going to be manufactured.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Isalin-Krumah reports for Joy News.
A group of NPP constituency youth organizers and their deputies thronged the party's national headquarters to pick nomination forms for the 2024 presidential candidate, Dr. Mamudu Bawumia, ahead of next year's presidential primaries. Amid chants and dancing to party songs, the supporters were briefly joined by NPP General Secretary Justin Kodua Frimpong, who clarified that his presence was purely coincidental and not specifically to witness the group collect Dr. Bawumia's forms. Here's more.
Well, former Vice President Mamudu Bawumia has become the latest member of the New Patriotic Party to officially pick nomination forms to contest in the 2026 flag bearer race of the party. But he did not pick it himself. 490 youth organizers of the party picked it on his behalf. And according to them, they think that he is the best candidate to lead the party to victory come election 2028.
We are here today to pick the form for our incoming president, inshallah, Dr. Alhaji Mamudu Bawumia. And we believe that this is a gift to Dr. Alhaji Mamudu Bawumia. At this critical moment in our governance as a country, looking at what has happened over the 7-month period, the only savior that can restore the 36,000 people that have been sacked, youth that has been sacked, is Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia.
Well, the former vice president also thanked the numerous youth organizers who picked the nomination forms for him, saying that this is a remarkable vote of confidence, and vowed never to engage in politics of insult.
The youth are a major asset for our party. They represent the future, and they are an asset not only for the party but for the nation. And I want to thank them for this major vote of confidence. But let us say that I want this flag bearership election to be conducted with decorum. We are not in a campaign of insults.
Well, former Information and Works and Housing Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, who has also publicly declared his support for Mahmood Bawumia, says that he agrees with the former vice president that this is indeed a vote of confidence in him.
He's already committed to them that he's minded to contest. He will be making a formal declaration, but to start off with the largest bloc within the party, which is the youth, is very, very, very encouraging.
From the campaign office of Mahmood Bawumia, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Business Updates is up next with Samuel Kujobrace.
Well, let's do business updates now. And the Bank of Ghana has taken additional measures to deal with high non-performing loans in banks and other financial institutions in the country. We have more in the following report on how these new regulatory directives will be working.
The Bank of Ghana in the notice argued that the action is aimed at dealing with increasing risks to industry's profitability, liquidity and solvency, as well as threats to the stability of the entire financial system. It also re-emphasized that these measures will be in addition to existing prudential guidance as well as best international practices for managing credit risk. The measures will push all these institutions to maintain a robust credit risk management framework and ensure that all their processes are in line with the new directive. Banks and other financial institutions are expected to adequately manage credit granting functions. All these financial institutions have up to end of December next year to fully comply. According to the latest economic and financial data, total industry non-performing loans has reached about 20%.
Senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amwa, says it will take a while for banks to adjust their rates despite the significant drop in the policy rate and the Ghana reference rate. He argues the banks would have to recalibrate their systems to charge the corresponding rate on their facilities. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Amwa appealed to businesses to exercise patience as the banks work at reducing their interest rates.
It is not the case that the banks are reluctant. One expects that in a competitive space, the banks will have to react or respond to the reduction in rates. But we also need to understand the banks that they have also contracted the deposit from depositors. It is very possible that the banks may have, promised some rate on these deposits that they now have to consider the sort of loans and credit requests that they will meet. So yes, rates have declined. From the monetary policy point of view, it has fed into the Ghana reference rates, like rightly said, so the banks must respond. I believe strongly that they will respond, but we need to give the banks some time for them to recalibrate their system, assess the pool of deposits that they are mobilizing and the cost of those deposits. Now, they will then factor that into the loans that they are going to create. So it is not on one hand that once the rates have declined from BOG, then it means that the banks will have to also decrease it. Yes, they will decrease, but they also have to look at their input cost and how that input cost by way of capital will influence their business. So yes, they will reduce it. It's just a matter of time.
Well, let's conclude the business update with what's happening on the commodities market.
Around the world and across Ghana's 16 regions, this is the AM show. And before we get into the news review, Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, it's not the correct tank. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. So rain or shine, Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside and check your tank right now. And if it doesn't have the tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. This is the number to call, 0244 335 168 to either buy one now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at www.syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Welcome to the news review segment on the AM show. My guests joining me this morning in studio, we have the legislator for Brekum West, Mr. Dixon Tredua, and we also have Afel Moni. He's a former president, GJA. Along the lines, we'll have a third guest, and when he joins us, I'll introduce him to you. But gentlemen, welcome to the news review segment. And it's the first time we're seeing you since that tragic incident. So I understand the black, and we're all preparing for tomorrow's state funeral. But I want to hear your thoughts for us this morning. And Mr. Moni, I'll start with you. Usually we reflect on national issues, but I don't want to guess, but I'm thinking it's somewhere along the lines of this tragedy.
Certainly, yes. As memories of the helicopter disaster continue to inflict seismic shock in our bones and excruciating pain in our hearts. We pray, continue to pray for the bereaved families. This is something which nobody expected. Our country is littered with prophets who make all kinds of prophecies, but none saw this coming.
Well, there was a prophet that there was a video circulating around, although it wasn't specifically about what might happen to him, but he was calling for Dr. Maneboama to come see him or something. I think that was the reason why even that office, the envoy, the envoy of the president, the ecumenical office, asking that prophets should bring such prophecies to their attention.
That's another matter which once we look at with all seriousness, because it's valid a lot of time. And a lot of time, Maxwell simply says that if you do the right thing at the right time, we yield with positive results. If we do the wrong thing at the right time, we will bring resistance. If we do the right thing at the wrong time, no, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
But if you do the wrong thing at the wrong time, it will bring disaster.
Right.
So I'm expecting official presidency in particular to put a pin on the policy proposal from Honorable Ankara on the request or directive to prophets to send their prophecies.
Right.
And many are punching holes in that policy proposal. It's rooted in knee-jerkism. Yeah. And in policy proposal, students in governance will tell you that environment is one critical element in formulating policies. In the present environment, it's not conducive at all to a directive to people to bring their prophecies. And the reaction, furious as they are, will tell you what is wrong with this proposal. Dead on arrival.
Okay.
So we expect officialdom to come out and state position clear that Ibrahim might have meant well, but in squaring this to the logic of reality, this is not the time to pursue this policy direction. And let me take the opportunity to sprinkle a status of commendation on the largest opposition party, the MPP, over two decisions it has taken in recent times. One, the decision not to contest the Tamale Central by-election, and number two, the decision to apologize to His Excellency the President over the unpalatable, unsavory, and unconscionable comments made by members of the party. Again, students of leadership who attest to the fact that situational variables or contextual factors will always dictate what effective leaders do at any point in time.
Right. Okay.
We find ourselves in a situation which is heartbreaking, so wrenching and earth-shaking, all because of a disaster. And in consonance with this brutal reality, MPP decided not to contest the Tamale Central by-election. It's also seized the opportunity to demonstrate situational leadership and statesmanship by apologizing to His Excellency the President over the comments made by members of their party.
Okay.
So this is something we need to commend most profusely, and I believe other parties will also take a lead from this and do same. And lastly, in line with the principle of reciprocity, we expect the NDC to also withdraw from Aquatia by-election. NDC has come out to declare, to maintain its stand rights into contest. But again, we expect them, with the confluence of time and upon deeper reflection on the mood of the country, we expect them to put a pin on that decision to contest, so that a new chapter altogether will be opened for this country to advance in all directions.
All right. Let's see what the NDC will do with this. And Mr. Dixon, this is the first time we're hearing from you, so let's hear your thoughts first.
Sidi, good morning to you, and good morning to our cherished viewers out there. Today being the first time on your show since that tragic incident, may I take this opportunity to join millions of our compatriots to express my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families and all Ghanaians for that tragic incident. And also use this opportunity to appeal, not to caution per se, to all individuals to exercise some level of restraint and be very responsible in our commentaries. It is very important at this time we remain united as one country, united grief for our fallen heroes who have paid the ultimate price on line of duty. Having said that, may I also talk briefly about the apology issued by the General Secretary of the MPP yesterday upon the visit of the leadership to the NDC headquarters. It is quite interesting to see the leadership acknowledging that something went wrong and have apologized, while still their communicators continue with those inflammatory comments. Yesterday, it was unfortunate. I was on the show with one of them who kept insisting that there is nothing wrong about those comments. But the good thing is the leadership has apologized, has condemned, and that is the way to go. We should all be very circumspect in this trying moment and respect, show empathy, compassion to the bereaved families by not running those commentaries. So that is about that. And the withdrawal of MPP from the Tamale Central election, the Chairman General has welcomed that decision we all welcome that decision. And I think it is, one, to show respect to our departed comrade. Two, it is also a strategic political move. So we welcome that decision. And don't forget, Sweden, not long ago, we took similar decision by withdrawing from the Ejeso by-election. So you look at the circumstances surrounding the elections, you look at your prospects going into elections, and take all factors into consideration and take a decision. So for me, that's a very good decision from the new Patriotic Party. Sudi, let me end by paying glowing tribute to Dr. Mutala, who was the minister responsible for environment. And in Parliament, I serve on the Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology. So my committee provides oversight over his ministry and the agencies under his ministry. Prior to rising on Thursday, I had an engagement with him, and his passion, his drive to end Galamsey was unparalleled. His passion for environmental stewardship and how he was looking forward to work closely with the members of the Environment Committee. You know, when we go on this long rides, that's when we do our visitations, we do our workshops, we go around to agencies to provide oversight. So our committee has outlined a number of activities, including travels across the country to northern region, western North Bono. So we had very fruitful engagement, and he was looking forward to work with us during that recess, only for his life to be taken in this cruel manner. For Dr. Omane Boama, Sweetie, you know, 2024 was my third shot for Requiem West. 2016 I lost, 2020 I lost. 2024, upon assumption into office as the Director of Elections and IT, he mapped up some constituencies. And Requiem West happened to be one of those constituencies he mapped up as a winnable constituency. He invited me to Accra, had 5 separate meetings. He engaged my constituency executives and provided data suggesting that that seat was a winnable seat. And indeed, the results on the 7th December 2024 was so telling that out of 69 polling stations in the constituency, we won 64 of them. And I owe him debt of gratitude for the information provided, his leadership in the elections management, especially in Requiem West. And finally, Sweetie, looking at Aquatia, as Doc suggested that NDC should withdraw from the Aquatia elections, I have heard several people also appealing to the party. I don't speak, I'm purport to speak for the leadership of the party. But the leadership has taken a decision that NDC is not withdrawing from Aquatia for several reasons. One, that in the 2024 elections, NDC believe and still believes that Aquatia seat was won by our parliamentary candidate. And for that matter, the candidate and the party jointly were litigating the issues in court until the untimely demise of my very good friend in that circumstances. So with that position that the party won and was litigating, it's going to be difficult to withdraw from that contest at this very trying times. Because
this is one of the topics that I want us to get.
Sweetie, the good people of Aquatia needs representation. You know, when you talk about it, this is parliamentary, you need representation. And the party believes the constituency can better be represented by the NDC candidate than the NPP candidate. And Aquatia stands to develop. In fact, I know NSC, our very close friend, and his vision was to develop Aquatia. And with NDC parliamentary candidate, his vision will be realized. That's why I think the leadership has taken this position, and we are all rallying behind the leadership of the party going into Aquatia.
Okay, so we'll discuss this, right? It's one of the things we'll discuss. I just want to usher in our third guest so that we can get incisive with that topic. So we have Kamaluddin Abdullahi is Deputy Communications Director for the NPP, and he's in studio with us. So welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So usually we give our guests a couple of minutes to reflect on any topical issue. They were just concluding on their initial takes for us. So let's hear yours, and then we'll get back to Aquatia. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, good morning to you, and of course to the cherished viewers out there. Sweetie, I think that yes, we are in a state of mourning as a country. We're just trying to recover from the shocks that we all had as a result of the helicopter crash. And of course, the Muslims who were indeed involved have been buried. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on them. In this case, Dr. Mutala Ibrahim Muhammad, and also Al-Haji Lemuna Muniru. May their soul rest in perfect peace, and may Allah grant them the Jannah for those that we all pray that they get. The next thing has to do with touching on when I was just coming in, listening to Honorable when he alluded to the fact that some apologies have been rendered by my party as a result of some comments that we found untoward towards national development in terms of cohesion, as it were. I think this is a mark of a party that appears civil to matters that concerns all of us. Unlike when some of these things happen, our opponents in NDC, it is difficult to hear them even apologizing. I mean, fresh in our minds, which I wouldn't like to rehash, some reckless comments made by them or their communicators. And they are not on record to have ever shown remorse or even apologized. At least that tells you the difference between NPP and NDC, clearly. It tells you who appears much more civil, who appears much more driving towards national cohesion, as it were. So, and I will use this opportunity to reiterate the point made by my General Secretary that, look, in as much as we are communicating, in as much as we are commenting on issues, we should be mindful of developing this country with our own talk, or with the way we actually express ourselves. We think that, yes, 32 years of democracy, we have jawed as a people, we have gotten to where we are. NDC, we've seen NDC, we've seen NPP. It's always been, and ultimately it is God who chooses leaders. Whatever he chooses for us, we all have to come on board, assist in the way we can. If we have to critique, we critique constructively to ensure that this country is on the right trajectory. Okay. So I think that, yes, it's in the right direction, and I support it, as it were. Except to add that, look, the court granted them bail yesterday. We have one of our social media contributors, Sir Obama, if you have heard about him. I hear he's been picked. He was picked, as it were, by the police. Initially, you're telling us that you sent your men to raid his home and arrest him. The next moment, the same police says, oh, he was to help in investigation. On what matter? Allegations are that he may have leads to people who are wielding guns or whatever in society because of the push that he makes. Then, lastly, it has to do with we are arraigning him before court. We really do not understand what it is. But be that as it may, it is important we, as a people, know how our security agencies operate and how they should operate. We have laws in this country.
Okay.
If some person is culpable,
me,
yes, if the person is culpable, let the person go through the right channels of, being dealt with, so that it will not look like you are appearing selective. It will not look like you are appearing vindictive, as it were. I think that on this note, I solidarize with all those who have been arrested, and I commensurate with them, and I say that, look, let the law work. If they are at fault, let us see how best we're going to go through the mill in terms of the law granting, and then get things resolved, as it were. Okay, so let's spend some time and discuss this Aquatia by-election briefly, and then we get into the newspapers. There are some very serious issues we should be talking about. So, Mr. Moni, you started by saying that you expect the NDC to follow in the queue of the NPP and say because of the tragic circumstances or the atmosphere, they would also just let go of the Aquatia by-election. And Mr. Chedu, you're saying that the party has decided they are going to rerun this, they're going to go through the by-election because you think that you have a chance to win again because you won. And it's because of the controversies and the case going to court. That is how come Ernest Yakumi got into that position. But the question is, would it not be a show of good faith that the NPP has decided that given the tragedy, I think Accra is just opening up again. We are all just opening up again after this tragic incident. Would it not be a show of good faith that you are also just, you know, supporting the rest of us to mourn and say, you know what, it's fine, it's just one seat in Parliament. You already have an overwhelming majority in Parliament. Do you really need to go and contest that seat in Aquatia?
It is not about winning. It is about proper representation of the good people of Aquatia. And we know Aquatia has been flipping between NDC and MPP over the years. And the difference is clear. When Aquatia has a member of parliament from NDC, we know the kind of representation in Aquatia. And when it is in the hands of MPP, we also see what goes on. So, one, it is on the basis of this that the good people of Aquatia are looking for accelerated development in their constituency, which our good friend never shied away from propagating and advocating for in Parliament.
What about the expectations of Ghanaians? I mean, I've listened, you've already expatiated on why you are going to
the expectations of Ghanaians is that they want to see development in Aquatia, and the good people of Aquatia want development. So we are looking at NDC, MPP, who is better placed to advocate, lobby for development for the good people of Aquatia. And as I've said, the good people have tried. NPP member of Parliament. In fact, when Baba Jama was a member of Parliament, I visited Aquatia quite a number of times, and the number of developmental projects that he was able to lobby for the good people of Aquatia were monumental. It got to a point.
The concern is, do we have to go to an election now? Because we haven't been able to go through any election without violence for a really long time now.
Let me tell you my candid position.
Should we risk it?
Let me tell you my candid position.
Yeah.
For me, going forward, I'm looking up to a day when we will have some amendment. That's my personal position to the existing laws, that when a party loses a member in Parliament, that party should be given opportunity to replace without to by-elections, because we know history of by-elections in this country. So that has been my personal position, that in future, when it happens, the cost of organizing by-elections, violence associated with by-elections and all those. So until we get to that point, we are now talking about what the law says. The law says when a seat becomes vacant, Electoral Commission will announce a date for by-election to be held, and all interested political parties and individuals are entitled to enter. As a political party, you make overall assessment of the situation and take a decision. And the decision of the leadership of the party is that the good people of Aquatia, otherwise, why would we have also put our arsenals on the table to when Ablekuma when we still had a clear majority, because we believe strongly that members of parliament from the NDC side, especially from those constituencies, are so determined to ensure that their constituents benefit from their share of the national cake.
Okay.
The seat was given to Madame Amasi, and we saw the development that came their way. It flipped to NDC, and we saw what came. So now the good people of Aquatia are saying we're looking for a member of parliament from NDC to come and rescue us.
So point
on that basis,
we have to use the time
that we need to go into that very important election. So it's not about the representation. What we need to do is to learn from our lessons, go into this election in a very sober mood.
We always say that we never really have a safe, violence-free election.
Exactly.
So please hold for me.
And that is what we are committed to doing.
Some of your members of the party, and they said that they didn't decide to stay away from the Tamale Central election because of Aquatia. It wasn't a give or take situation. They just felt like the way the country is mourning and this tragic incident is you just let it go. But it appears some Ghanaians, and I'm even referring to Mr. Moni right now, expect that the NDC do same. Is it an expectation that your party holds as well? Or
yes.
It's of no concern to you whether they decide to follow suit or not?
Quick one, to comment on this, let me set off by trying to bring to Ghanaians what the NDC thinks about Aquatia and the flip-flopping that comes with it. Honorable sits here to say that they are of the belief that they won the seat.
Oh, yes?
With a girl
That's why we're in court.
With respect. They won the seat, and the reason why they were pursuing their matter in court.
Yeah.
Again, if you recall, the late Ernest Kumi, may he so rest in peace, had the difficulty even going into parliament. When he got into parliament, difficulty even contributing because parliament, those in the majority would not even allow him to speak, thinking or believing that the matter is still in court. In a nutshell, trying to say that Ernest Yakumi did not win Aquatia at all. But when the unfortunate happened, that's why I say they keep flip-flopping. When the unfortunate happened, their majority leader is on record to have eulogized the late gentleman and how gentleman he appears and how, all-inclusive he appears and how affable he was, as well as all the beautiful accolades were given to him, to the extent that he was recognized by the majority leader as a member of parliament elected by the good people of Aquatia. The next moment, they won it. He wasn't elected. I don't know which is which anyway. But that's just fast forward.
But before that recognition you're talking about, he was asked, that would he bear the consequences? Because it was a case in court. So it was a very controversial issue.
The case traveled up to Supreme Court.
Yes, I'm saying that it shouldn't sound as if the Speaker of Parliament recognized him without a controversy surrounding it.
I have not said so. I am saying, I just did mention to you that they have a position. The next moment, they're giving us a different position anyway. But that's, by the way, that's for Ghanaians to... Please, that's for Ghanaians.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Yeah, I'll come back to you.
I'll be very quiet. Please, respectfully. Let Ghanaians judge in a way. Why did we take a decision to opt out of Tamale Central? We took a decision, first and foremost, to assist Ghanaians in indeed commiserating or indeed showing our remorse or showing our, if you like, sympathy towards what had happened. To sympathize with the families of the deceased, to also sympathize with the President of the Republic of Ghana, and also sympathize with the NDC. That is how come our leadership even visited, you understand, to kind of show how we feel about the incident that had happened. First and foremost is to indeed bring out that humanity in all of us. Two, we saw that there's supposed to be needless, if you like, acrimonious environment that characterizes our by-elections. We said, look, with this unfortunate incident and with the records that we have as a party, how by-elections pan out, we don't really think that Ghana is in that state at the moment. We're supposed to appear sober, reflect, look at the way forward, and replan and see what we can do. However, it is not to say that we wanted NDC to also say, look, we are also, just as you opted out of Tamale Central, we are also urging you to opt out of Aquatia. No.
But that's what you're saying.
That's
exactly what Nana Boakye said yesterday. No. That is the exact same way. The story is actually on my
With all respect, if you listen to Nana Boakye, Nana Boakye hinged his submission on submissions of some renowned journalists in this country. On this table, you alluded to the fact that my good brother and our good uncle, Alfred Money, looked at the whole picture and said, must we subject ourselves to all this cacophony and all that? Must we subject ourselves to all this whatever? Why can't we think about it soberly and say, okay, if this is what is happening, let's also opt out and move on. That's his opinion. That equally is opinion of Nana Boakye. It is not a party stance. Distinguish that.
Okay.
Nana Boakye is our national organizer, perfect. But Nana Boakye, before even saying this, I know journalists of multimedia who came out to say, look, it will be proper if NDC opts out of Aquatia and NPP also opt out of Tamale Central. Journalists within multimedia. And I can mention names. I listen to them. Even that preceded Nana Boakye's comment. So yes, it will be in good faith for all of us to do that. But we didn't do it because we wanted to urge them to do it. But let me tell you, Aquatia is very winnable to us. We are sure of winning Aquatia. Why? Take 2020 election. Presidential. NPP won overwhelmingly. 2024 election, presidential, NPP won overwhelmingly. Where we have problems within our parliamentary, it is when we have internal issues, where you have difficulty in the selection of a candidate. But in this case, we have all agreed to select a particular candidate. And I can tell him without any equivocation that going into this election, NPP is going to beat NDC hands down in this election. Aquatia is a traditional seat for us. Anyway, it is not like for them that he knows. So I'm surprised that he's making these comments.
Let's hold on for now. Mr. Money, it looks like September the 2nd, the NDC and the NPP will be locking horns again in this by-election. We just have a few minutes to spend on this. I saw you making a lot of notes, so let's hear your thoughts. Clearly, the NDC is not, they haven't decided to sit this one out. And it's not a thing that we can force on them. They have every right to decide to go through with the election. But what do you say? You started the conversation about the expectation of the
UN Secretary General, Dr. Boutros Ghali of Egypt, once said, and I quote, it's only a fool doesn't change his mind. This is not to suggest or imply that NDC is a foolish party run by foolish people. But this is to appeal to them to filter their decision to contest through the tight weave of reality. And the reality now is that ours is a nation in deep mourning. Ours is a nation which is healing as an imperative necessity. We all know what by-elections bring. Every election induces its own tension. By-elections have been characterized by high voting tensions and red-hot tempests, which crystallize into violence. So as to speak, violence in our elections is an insoluble puzzle and constitutes an indelible stain on our democracy. So if we are declining on the democracy index, it's because of the incident of violence across the country, mostly occasioned by by-elections. So our appeal is to the NDC. Please, you have decided.
Yeah. But it is, all you're saying is it is possible to change your mind.
It is possible to change your mind.
Okay, it's not too late.
Yeah, it's not too late for them to change their mind.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moni. And
Sweetie, please, quick.
You have to make it very brief for me.
Just quick one on this. I'm very surprised. You know, today I'm in a very sober mood and don't want to indulge in politics. But there are several occasions where NDC has lost a member and MPP did not withdraw. In 2004 elections, Dr. Jibril, it's very important. Dr. Jibril won. He passed a year later in 2005, the one that brought Honorable Muntaka into Parliament. Why didn't they withdraw? Although they did in 2005, we had a member who passed. Why didn't they withdraw? Jirapa 2009, they did not withdraw. Chiriponi 2009, they did not withdraw. Akache South 2013, they did not withdraw. Buem 2013, we had a member who passed. They contested. Telensi, they didn't withdraw 2015. Menfi West. So this, if you are withdrawing in this instance, this is a strategic political move you are making. If you so committed that when NDC loses a member, to honor his memory, you would withdraw. Why in the previous instance you did not withdraw? And let me tell you, there's different. In Adjeso, few years ago, we withdrew. So depending on the circumstances, that is the point we are making.
That's what he's saying.
Let me finish with this very important point. The hypocrisy of MPP is telling in this particular case. Let me tell you, in Aquatia, MPP top people campaign vigorously, skirt and blouse against NSC Yaokumi. And today, to pretend, and I mean, if you know what he went through in Aquatia, that's why I said I don't want to do politics this morning. But the angle we're taking, MPP were campaigning against him in Aquatia.
I didn't get that.
You have to be fair to me to respond to this. It is important. Please.
I'm
verify that right now.
Hypocrisy is so telling.
I'll give you, Mr. Abdullah.
The party leadership has taken a position. You were the very people who were campaigning vigorously against that guy in that election. He managed to go through per the results. And let me also clarify, until a court of competent jurisdiction rules in this matter, once he was in Parliament, he was considered as a member of Parliament. We're waiting for a ruling to come. So to say the leadership of MPP and the majority leader eulogized him, he eulogized him as a member because until his untimely death, no court had ruled. And even though we disagreed with the result, until a competent court of jurisdiction rules, we had to accept the result, and we're contesting that.
Mr. please hold
my brother, let us not do this. You have decided, and let us be blunt here. You are withdrawing because you think you have no chance in Tamale Central. That's one of the...
So he's saying that there have been so many instances where they withdrew from elections because of...
He only cited a
He listed a number of...
You were not listening to him. What he said was that there has been so many instances that they lost their MPs and we never withdrew. However, they also withdrew in a... So that's what the point he made. But the point I want to make clear is that he talks about hypocrisy.
Yes.
And he talks about they winning or they be in a position to have won the Aquatia election. What happened in their primaries? Hypocrisy at its highest order. The lawyer who believed that the candidate they presented won the election, contested against him and won the primaries and took him out. The man you said he has won. You, within your own party, you have taken him out. That is hypocrisy at its highest peak. You believe the person has won. The people, good people, excuse me. The good people of Aquatia have chosen somebody for you, who you presented. You, the same person, goes behind and say, no, he cannot win the election. We are changing him and we bring a new person. The new person you have brought, that is hypocrisy.
Let me
tell you. Now, you see, now.
Someone else comes in a minute.
Yes. Now, this is a democratic party.
Please, let me hear you.
Let's have a discussion. You see, departing from that hypocritical comment that he made, on which I have just cited to him that within his own party the hypocrisy is there. Now,
is it in fact
Aquatia,
that members of your party
campaign against? I'm now answering that. If you listened to me earlier, maybe he was hearing me, he wasn't listening to me. I did mention that, look, sometimes in politics, internal issues will cause you to lose the seat. And I alluded to the fact that if you take presidential results, MPP won emphatically. If you look at the parliamentary, we had difficulty because of our internal arrangement in primaries or at primaries, which I said, he rightly mentioned the factions that was created in Aquatia. I agree with him. Baba Jamal, even before winning Aquatia, it was factions again. He doesn't have the history of the. I go there. My sister is married there, and I go there.
Someone who wants to break this.
So I am saying that
we can move on.
Internal issues may cause problems, but this time around we have chosen a candidate, and unanimously all of us have embraced him and pushed Asumeni in front. And I'm saying that in this election, this by-election, they are going to be whipped and whipped so well.
Okay, Mr. Moni, final word on Aquatia by-election.
Instances of withdrawal cited by Honorable are rooted in facts and indeed highly commendable. But as a nation, this is not the time to set the past against the present. Otherwise, we stand the risk of losing the future. As a nation, we want to do everything within our means, humanly possible, to secure the future. And lastly, on the point of development made by Honorable, if NDC finally decide to cede the seat to MPP, the ruling NDC government, is in a better position to decide the developmental trajectory of Aquatia better than an MPP MP. So this argument.
No, so we need parliamentarians don't go to develop. Government has developed. That's a good one.
You know, if you have an MP, who is not up and doing, who is not advocating, who is not lobbying, who is invisible, who is not on the floor of the chamber. No,
what are the by days of will?
You know,
by days of will
of an MP is not to develop.
No, but to lobby, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So whether opposition or in power, you can lobby.
It's about your industry. It's about your industry. You have visibility, you have contribution on the floor. That will catch you. Know, the national cake is there, the kitty is very small, and everybody is
Gentlemen, do you know that the IGP's task force against illegal mining were pelted with stones and attacked somewhere in Mansun Kwanta also? First of all, let's take a look at that report and then we'll discuss, because it's not a good look on us that citizens, the very menace, the very canker eating at the fiber of this country's development that we are trying to fight, citizens decide that they want to fight the people of authority who want to fight that. Let's take a look at what happened in Mansun Kwanta when the IGP's anti-illegal mining task force tried to seize an excavator.
IGP's Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force came under attack today as angry illegal miners led by the assembly member pelted them with stones after the team seized one excavator from an illegal mining site at Bonteso close to Mansun Kwanta in the Ashanti region. The team came under attack by almost large crowd from the community pelting stones in an attempt to attack the team. The team is seen firing warning shots to disperse them, but they kept coming. Leader of the team, ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil and Sergeant Aglekpe Mawena Yao sustained some injuries. They managed to arrest the assembly member for the area, Patrick Asare, and two others, Oseva School and Akwesi Amponsa. After a series of warning shots and targeted arrests, the task force managed to control the situation, dispersed the hostile crowd, and transported the seized excavator to the Mansun Edubia police station. They had to leave one excavator at the site due to the hostile situation. The Mansun area is noted for years of extreme illegal mining, destroying farmlands and polluting streams there.
So that's what happened at Bonteso, and it's near Mansun Kwanta, and that's where that incident happened. Gentlemen, a few days ago, a day plus a week ago, we lost 8 lives because of illegal mining. Not directly, but they were on their way to go and launch a program, cooperative mining, and whatever the situation is. to come from that level of tragedy, and then barely days after, people, citizens themselves, are pelting a task force. Clearly, they're in uniform. We saw the footages ourselves. What does this even say? What does this mean for us in the fight against illegal mining? I want to start with you, Mr. Abdullahi.
Well, thank you very much. I think that a lot of calls, even yesterday, the chiefs within Greater Accra had called to say that, the unfortunate incident that happened, which claimed lives of 8 illustrious sons of Ghana, should be a wake-up call to us, and should be a compelling reason why the government should not sleep when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. You see, there's so much difficulty in it. I recall when President Akufo-Addo, wherever he is this morning, I say good morning to him and commend him for what he did. When he made a pronouncement that he had put his presidency on the line and that he was going to fight illegal mining to the core, Prisia Honi Valley, if you know the elections, the demography of our voting pattern in this country so well, Prisia Honi Valley in the western region was a traditional seat of MPP. We lost it as a result of declaring to say we're going to fight illegal mining. I'm coming to this matter. Takwa, we nearly lost it. All the mining areas, okay, rose up against us and voted massively against our party in 2020 because of that reason. I am trying to tell you how citizens feel when government come up or gets up to say we're fighting illegal mining. Fast forward to where we are today, even though that time we didn't get full support of the NDC. We were expecting that. We didn't get it. They even went there with cameras to tell them that when we come, we allow you to do your work. We have cameras, videos to show. Their deputy communication, Kuku Buahe, is on record to have done that. Reckless as it may appear, but you see, it is a national call for all of us. Where we are today, we have seen the menace caused by illegal mining, in this case Galamsey. And all of us agree that, look, if we do not kill Galamsey, Galamsey will finish us. We all agree. One, it's poisoning our water bodies. Two, we are not getting the environment right again. It's depleting everything that we have, causing environmental degradation. Three, we know again that we have not been able to harness the royalties that God has given us as a country so that we could use that to economically have value for this country. We have not gotten that. And then four, we have not had government getting data around these areas to give proper livelihood to the people in those areas, because illegal mining is indeed swaying all these things away. Where we are today, it tells you that this fight is not easy. Look at the way the police people got hurt, assuming they didn't even have arms to protect themselves. Because the warning, I'm sure it's the warning shots that even assisted, helped them.
And
assuming they didn't have arms,
even leave on
assuming they were not properly prepared, and the citizens who decided to attack them with stones and whatever that they had succeeded in empowering them, what would have happened? It would have been another disaster again for us as a country.
You mentioned that former President Akufo-Addo did in fact say he was putting his presidency on the line. Between that time, because that was in the early days
of fighting, when he declared it.
Yes. So between that time and the time he was leaving office, would you say that these are the same factors? You say we don't have enough data to know exactly what these people are and give them alternative livelihood. The people themselves see it as a venture of making money, as a source of livelihood. Are these the reasons why the president couldn't fight the Galamsey? He couldn't put his presidency on the line?
I am telling you about the resistance that may come from the people. And I also said that in fighting this Galamsey, we should put certain factors on board so that all of us would have an inclusion and agree to those factors. Say, if provision of livelihood, what can we do? We find a way. How are we going to harness our royalties and whatever?
Is that
all the
work?
factors. Look,
alternative livelihood will work.
You see, when you have, sometimes not just poverty, because some rich people also sponsor this. Okay, and I think there's not just poverty. However, it is also important that those young ones who are, of course, gullible, who may be brought on board to go and work for some rich person sitting in Accra or somewhere, when they have their livelihood actually defined, they may not be seen on the ground doing that. However, what is the solution now? We've all now attested and agreed that, look, there's resistance on the ground. We now need a national cohesion in the fight against Galamsey. What can we do? When we were in power, there were calls for us to declare state of emergency. Factors best known to the government never declared the state of emergency. The NDC is in power. There are calls for them to declare state of emergency. The president has declared state of emergency. Best known to the government hasn't done that. But I still think that there should be a way out. Just as we went to Senchi and some other places to organize a forum, my suggestion to this government is that, look, let us have a national forum on Galamsey organized. National House of Chiefs should be part of it. Council of State should be part of it. Parliament should be part of it. All political parties must be part of it. The government, of course, is going to be led by the president. It's part of it. What is on the table? Should we declare state of emergency as we all agree? Yes, against Galamsey. It's a factor. When we declare state of emergency, should there be an executive order signed that all security persons who are signed on the ground, if you see anyone in it, and I keep saying this, despite Article 13 telling you don't take lives away. But of course, when in Kenya, when it became difficult, when they were losing ivory, and the elephant, what's the name? The wildlife was being under attack, the president declared shoot and kill mechanism. Anyone found on the ground doing this, security, fire, so long as that within that precinct or those parameters, it is already coded that no one should have this illegal mining, and they are there doing it, fire, open fire. So now, when we do that,
what about human rights?
I just mentioned that Article 13 of the Constitution says it.
What about the people who would come for our heads if we actually go in these
What they are doing against us is also against human rights.
A few weeks ago,
you don't know that?
A few weeks ago, we cleared the streets of Accra with these foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Not months ago, not a few weeks ago. I think in the middle of the year.
Yes.
And we had so many international human rights agencies come and say that there's a way you have to go about it. Put that aside. When you try to clear the traders on the streets of Accra that are, preventing pedestrians and cars from moving freely, citizens themselves will come and say, well, we don't have any other ways of doing things.
For me,
I'm giving you some instances why I think that, it takes more than that.
With a great respect to you,
it takes more than saying, let's go and shoot and kill them in the forest.
I'm saying, with the greatest of respect to you, the comparison you are making, or the comparative analysis you are trying to make now, indeed, doesn't really match.
When we kill these people,
when we say shoot
the
and
world
kill,
will come
shoot
for
and
us.
kill necessarily does not mean but shoot and kill necessarily does not mean that just go out there and start shooting. With a great respect, these security persons are professionals as well. We are saying that, look, what can we do to deter people, on the ground? It is a measure you put in place. Necessarily, of course, before even a security professional, a professional security agent person shoots, he weighs situations a lot. They don't just shoot. But it is a mechanism put in place. When we announce it, that look, anyone found within these areas, I'm backing on Galamsey. One of the measures given to the security is to shoot and kill. That announcement goes on there. Trust me, this thing is going to get some deterrence put in place, and we may be able to make a headway in it. But if it is about leaving them to do what they want to do, what we are seeing on your screens now, the police go in and they're attacking them is what is going to continue. But if there was an announcement out there, the government has given so and so, or taken so and so stance, and we've declared state of emergency, and this can happen to you when you do this, trust me, nobody will dare even do this. Nobody will come out.
I appreciate the passion with which you're saying that that is a solution. Like shoot a few people, and they'll realize that that's a no-go area. But we just can't pick up arms and do that.
I think if you listen to me, I just thought that well anyway, but that's fine.
I'm just saying, it just doesn't sit well with me.
Sweetie,
for you to...
Sweetie, having watched this footage, there is that temptation to go on that tangent. Shoot and kill. I have been on this platform and advocated against it over and over. By having watched this, there is that temptation. But you see, under what law are you going to do that? You see, as a democratic country, you need to abide by rule of law. And arbitrarily killing is grave human rights abuse. So it's a very difficult conversation. We need to do.
Do you remember how Major Mahama was killed? That was no human rights.
You see,
there was no human rights. Major Mahama had no human rights.
To legitimize it, I think we need to do more. As I said, there is that temptation, but I don't think that is the way to go. We need to do more. But quickly, sweetie, his declaration, or President Akufo-Addo's declaration of putting his presidency on the line, for me, let us put it on record. That it was much ado about nothing. Completely.
So you were doing something?
No, it was much ado about nothing. Nothing.
You are doing something.
Nothing was achieved. In fact, during
you are doing something now.
During the ADS, that former president was in office, there was what I call semblance of fight against Galamsey, pretending to be going after some individuals, but at the same time emboldening their party people.
I didn't want to go on that tangent, but if you want me to go, I'll go on that tangent then.
From Paul Manson's report, as we saw on several occasions, so don't go there. This government is really, really determined to end it. Measures are in place, and we are fighting. You indicated it's a very difficult fight. So if shoot and kill was option to end it, why was it not implemented? You had 8 years to have implemented that. So we are putting all the cards on the table.
But
and you see the progress.
Working.
Is
it working? If it was working, would we see what we're seeing now?
I've been following. Let me
hold on.
Let me tell you, the level of impudence that was allowed to go unchecked during 8 years, and you think in 7 months we can get rid of all the Galamseyers off the field. Now, 9 forests that were seized under the tenure have been recovered. None of them is now occupied by Galamseyers. It was during their time that they passed a law to legitimize mining in forest reserves. And now we are dealing with the aftermath of it, trying to reverse. That trying to repeat. So when we talk about fight against Galamsey and President Akufo-Addo's declaration of putting his office on the line, in fact, nothing significant was achieved. And from Paul Manson's report is a testimony for us all.
I wish you
so don't let us go on that tangent. We are determined to fight it. It's a difficult fight. We require national consensus, collective effort to end it. And all ideas, suggestions that will help end Galamsey are welcome.
Okay.
But don't pretend you were doing better than this government has done. In fact, this government has done better in 7 months than you did in your entire 8 years in terms of fight against Galamsey.
Really?
Mr. Money, you are the tiebreaker because we have NDC and NPP. It's actually very good for us.
On the footage.
On the footage.
Just so. And one word encapsulates what you saw on the screen. That is impunity. And one thing about impunity is that if it's not tackled with all serious and brutal seriousness, it reignites a self-propelling cycle, a re-energizing cycle, which becomes almost impossible to tackle. You mentioned the Frimpong-Boating report. All the causal factors for our inability to win the war against Galamsey are in there. So we'll be dancing around, we'll be skirting the surface of the issue if we attempt to hold a national forum. At the state expense, people come, drink, eat, and go away, and go back to back to business as usual. As I said, and the best repeating that the causal factors are well known. One, political will is so conspicuous by its absence in the fight against Galamsey. We still have untouchable individuals, highly connected people who are driving this business of Galamsey. So unless we pluck the political will to deal surgically with the people behind Galamsey, all our efforts will be in vain. But let me commend the IGP for what he's doing. In fact, we heard from a very reliable source, independent reliable source, Erasmus as a Redanko of multimedia film. He testified at a recent forum that the IGP men, they are making inroads in the fight against Galamsey. So this is a plus to the present attempt to fight Galamsey. But the time has come. In fact, the loss of the 8 gallant men in the most tragic circumstances, and what we have seen should induce a turning point in the fight against Galamsey. This is a time for us as a nation to go after people who are destroying our environment, feeding fat where they have no sown, sentencing the whole generation to distraction. This is a time to fight Galamsey with all intensity, with all ferocity, and with all tenacity.
Mr. Money, in fact, gentlemen, for nearly 2 years I've sat in this chair on the AM show. I can say that almost every week the issue of illegal mining comes up. And all I hear is, can we manipulate them better, or, better than they manipulate us? It is just a big, terrible, ominous situation that we have clad in political colors right now. And as an individual, as a journalist, I cry for Ghana because I do not see the end in sight. I will tell you confident, I don't see the end in sight. Seizing excavators, it doesn't do anything. They'll find a way. Saying that let's hold a forum and talk. What are we going to talk about that we haven't already spoken about at length? President Mahama can speak up a storm. If we do not decide that this is like a drug, Galamsey is like Colombia and the rest, their cocaine problem.
And what happens to them when they get there?
You see? And yet we're still doing this talk shop, and we have to do this.
What happens to those drug dealers when they get there?
I think we have to take decisive action. I'm not trying to side with your shoot and kill suggestion. But I have no hope. I'm telling you, I have no hope.
Yes.
Since the time that I started joining and observing how political leaders talk about everybody's just trying to manipulate everybody. Because if we really wanted to fight illegal mining, we wouldn't be sitting here right now and be having this conversation. And you will not be saying truth and kill. You will not be saying that this administration has.
We can get out of this 2 minutes of hopelessness.
We know what to do.
By
it's just whether or not we have the bandwidth or wherewithal to actually follow through.
Mr. Money said something. Mr. Money said
difficult decisions.
Conspicuously lesson in the fight against Galamsey is political will.
We don't have
and I want to associate myself with the comment he made. It's a fact. Why lack of political will? What my brother just did. NDC want to say, we look good, we are doing better. NDC want to say, we look good, we are doing better. That will erode the political will that we all need to fight. I am saying to that. Look, first of all, to have even had the intention of triggering the fight was a good thing. For the Akufo-Addo alone to even trigger that, look, there's a danger, a looming danger.
But along
that
the way,
was something. Yes, I'm not saying it was 100%. I'm not saying his administration was 100%. I'm saying that we triggered it. We all needed to come on board. And I cited you when you were in opposition, when we triggered it. You fought it. And went there with video to tell them that you will allow them to do mining when you come.
What would it take for us to say ban all forms of mining for 6 months? Let's do a proper assessment.
It's a point. Let's look at it. But we tried it.
Hold on,
Amongst many solutions on the table, there is one key that over the years we've not paid critical attention. For me, the most important thing is, if you take them out of the site, what is the alternative source of livelihood? And that is exactly what this government is doing. Now, in areas where we cannot take them off, what we are saying is, let government support, form cooperatives, and do responsible mining. It was what was going to be launching was that incident because one, you go in with the security, drive them off the site, no alternative livelihood. Some of them enter the streets with guns, and so it's a holistic approach. Government now is making it difficult to bring in excavators. Now we've reclaimed the forest. Now processes are underway to trace sources of gold that gold board buys. So if you get to a point where if you get it from unapproved source, illegal source, you cannot sell the gold. We create livelihood. So there are multiplicity of solutions.
The question is,
the
people pelting police officers with stones because they've come to seize it.
That's what I'm saying. They should be dealt with.
Do you think they'll be willing to, venture into another form of, source of livelihood? Do you think that if you say, let's, for example, give them a huge farmland and then let them ply themselves, let them just
for instance,
they will agree to
for instance, if a cooperative is formed,
these are people who have picked arms.
If a cooperative mining is formed, government support with machinery, whilst mining is going on, there's land reclamation, planting, and all those things. So, you see, let us establish the baseline. I don't think anybody is against extraction of gold. What everybody is against is the associated destruction to the environment. So, if there is a way we can help them to undertake their activities in a responsible manner, devoid of polluting our water bodies, devoid of polluting our soils, are we not for that? And that is exactly what this government is going to do. As I said, it will take time, but surely with commitment and dedication to this cause, we shall surely get there. So my brother, let us all unite together and fight this. But for me, alternative livelihood, ensuring responsible mining are two interventions. Otherwise, drive them out. You are only relocating them from one area to another problem area, because over the years they've lived off their activities, and you don't just drive them without alternative.
When you say it will take time, how much time do you envisage it would take for us?
That's why I said in 7 months. Look at the progress we've made. Now excavators are not coming in. Now our forests that were under siege have been taken over, and gradually we are getting there. And this responsible mining, if you read the roadmap, the government said by August, September, they will be rolling out this cooperative responsible mining. And that was going to be launched in Obuasi, and indeed it was launched.
I will commend multimedia. I will commend multimedia.
Except that really, because of the calamity around it, we are not talking about the launch and the benefits thereof. That will be accrued to us.
You spoke about land reclamation, but every day children are dying.
So we'll be dealing with that after the state funeral, and what processes will be underway to roll out the cooperative responsible mining.
In tandem with action against
that's exactly what we're saying. Yes, I totally agree with you.
While we sit here, elements of NDC say we have come to power and it is our turn to do Galamsey or mining.
That is total.
That is what is happening.
That is totally.
And there are names.
It is this government.
To the extent
that is holding
that your national organizer.
Gentlemen.
To the extent that your national organizer.
So
why is he supposed to be appearing before Ioko?
Exactly.
To the extent that you are involved. I'm trying to say that look, let us not put talk on this matter. Because what is on the ground is very different.
No, but sweetie, you have to be very honest.
Party people are on the ground now
mentioned. Are now facing investigations. During your time, people who were mentioned in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report got away with it. That's the difference.
When it comes to legal mining, the only voice that I trust, honestly, is Erastus Asare Donko.
Absolutely.
With the facts, the details, the figures.
So
and
what
he
said
saying that the NPP gurus were the ones in charge.
Now
it is NDC. He said this in an interview with him.
No, the reports are
so to conclude with this,
that is why we
do you agree you are good?
That is why I agree that political will is not there. So let's
the difference is,
the government of Ghana has confirmed that it has sought international assistance in investigating the helicopter crash in the Ashanti region. Now, the arguments are divided. Some are saying that seeking international help undermines our own sovereignty, our own ability to, handle our affairs. Others are saying that it's quite the opposite. It's not undermining our own capabilities, but rather it speaks that we can get help when we want it. don't forget that we are a developing country, and there are so many developed countries who can help us with technologies that we haven't even dreamt of yet. Let's spend some time on this matter, because it looks like from the way we handled the crash site to the way we had to export DNA samples to another country to verify which body belongs to, which personality, down to this moment where we are seeking, although we have found the black box, we have taken it back to the manufacturer so that they can decode and all that. Where does Ghana sit on the, in terms of global affairs when it comes to technology to handle issues like this? Because you cannot tell me that we don't have forensic experts who can actually deal with these issues, but it's about the technology to actually, deliver the results that we want. Are we always going to play catch up? Mr. Moni, let me start with you this round. Where do you sit in the argument? Is it undermining our own abilities, capabilities, or sovereignty, or is it helping us?
City, you did admit that ours is a developing country. And developing country means that we are not arrived yet. Meaning there are so many areas where we need to catch up, so many areas where we need to invest resources, which will yield the right dividends. And I heard one of the experts lament about the under-resource situation they find themselves. So if we, as a nation, decided to go elsewhere to help resolve this national conundrum, I see nothing wrong with that. It's a reflection of our state of development. We are not arrived, but even with advanced countries, they seek help from other countries which have advanced more than them in certain areas of development. So there's nothing shameful about that.
Okay. So there's nothing shameful about this. Yeah, that's what you think. Yeah. Okay, great. Mr. Chedia, what do you say?
I totally agree with Doc in this word over such accidents, calamities. There is, in fact, the best international practice is international collaboration in this. Countries have advanced in certain specific areas than others. US, UK, Israel, you take the three, they all have areas where they have the most advanced technologies in their favor. So when issues happen like this, it's important when you want to get to the bottom of the matter and to have the credible results that will be accepted by all parties involved. It's sometimes important to have international collaboration. Let us not look at it like somebody else is doing us for us. Our investigators are collaborating with our international partners to ascertain the true cause of the accident, and absolutely there's nothing wrong with that. Having said that, it is also important. These things are wake-up calls for us as a country to start developing the technology in our country. For instance, the DNA, I think we've gotten to a point that UGMC should have a sophisticated DNA laboratory to undertake these tests locally. So it's a wake-up call for us. But at this point, I think there is nothing wrong. Best international practice encourages some of these, and we need to develop our own institutions to be competent enough to take some of these investigations locally going forward.
You don't think that where we are right now, over 60 years after independence, and seeing how the rest of the world is evolving, and some people have gone to the moon and back.
Yes, we are.
Are you saying that? Are you saying that we are still developing to the point that we cannot look within and say no? For this one, it just doesn't go well for us.
Yes.
Ought to have these technology, and because it's I don't want to say simple because I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know the specifics of it, but just to hear that Ghana has no technology to verify the remains, which belongs to which personality, and we have to go to South Africa, another African country. I think that we shouldn't play it small. We shouldn't say that, oh, we are just still a developing country. And I think that we should actually treat it as a serious thing that we are lacking behind.
There are certain things that we don't know. The public probably may not be aware.
Okay.
Some of the laboratory tests you take here, you go, they take your sample. Some of them are sent outside for results to be brought in. So you only go for your results. But indeed, the sample went out for whatever test to be conducted and results brought in. So I totally agree. Okay. We need to accelerate our developments, especially in the area of sciences and technology.
All right.
That is key for socio-economic development of every country. So we are lagging behind, and these incidents should serve as wake-up call for us to accelerate developing in these areas.
Ms. Abdullah, are we being honest with ourselves?
I think first of all, let us not say that let us not throw our hands in despair to say that we haven't actually achieved a lot as a country. When you take from independence of date, trust me, Ghana is still not where it was. We have, let's be fair to ourselves and let us pat ourselves on the back and say, there's more to be done anyway, but we have moved on. I recall when Joy came on air in 1995. Today, look at where Joy is. That alone is an example to tell you that there is a going concern. We are growing. You understand what I mean? Now, what we have to do is to pay heed to our education model. I am happy once again, and let me eulogize the former president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, when he instituted the STEM educational projects. STEM is what has gotten these developed countries where they are. STEM and TVET. But what we have rather done here is to hint on humanities, journalism, marketing, law, whatever. But what actually works? The cameraman standing behind here and watching us, he's more important than us sitting here. Without him, nobody sees what is outside.
Debatable.
No, it's debatable though, but I'm saying we all have to meet at a point. But I'm saying that, you see, they pay heed first to STEM, to science, technology. Now, complement that with the humanities, and you'll be good to go. I'm not saying the humanities is not there, but our model of education must not, like I have my daughter at home. What do you want to be? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a journalist. It's all important. But now ask yourself, what career development have you given to people who have chosen areas and made sure that they become experts in that area? That is where we have fallen short. The person finished degree after master's is done. But that's, by the way, second issue. Have we deliberately invested in critical areas like our health sector? So that when we have UGMC, we don't come to say Atamos or John Mahama build it and that ends that we are in town and making noise about it. What are the components of UGMC? When a new government comes and say, okay, we lack this forensic laboratory, it ought to come, let's add that. When the person adds it and the other person comes, add this, we will develop the center to a level. But where you now target with politics, that look, John Mahama did it. Myself who comes in and I know I will not get credit, I will not add what I'm supposed to add there. But let's see it as a national monument that all of us would have to think and think beyond out of the box to help us build it. Finally, to put on this, it is not a shame for us to say that we are going to bring experts to look at our black box. It's not at all. Russia, with all their development, sometimes when they find themselves in situations, they invite other countries to come and then help them. America, with all their development, they also do same. And one thing you should know about aircraft manufacturing is that components come from different countries to build. The engine may come from UK, what's the name? Rolls-Royce, but they are the best aircraft engines in the world. Now I hear the Chinese are also trying to go far. You understand? America also has their Boeing is also there. But even Boeing is using Rolls-Royce engines sometimes. So I'm trying to say that other countries come in. We are in a global village now as a world. We shouldn't be ashamed of ourselves to say that, yes, where we are taking our black box to go and be analyzed. Yes, it's better to build our aspects. Even after building our aspects, we need cross-checking. You remember when we had the Malcolm disaster, the Ground Zero? Yeah. Israel had to come to our aid to see how we can, see if we can get some survivors out of it, out of the rubble. So I'm saying that, look, a world has now become a single country, and all of us are together. It's a global village. We live on together. However, it's not to say that we should be lazy not to develop our own aspects. It is very important. Okay. Ghana.
So, in a related development, people were concerned that the remains were put in cocoa sacks. Yeah. But I think there's been some clarity on that.
Yeah.
I learned that there were body bags available, but the remains were just too hot. Actually, let's listen to what the clarity is, and then we come back in studio.
Do the recovery efforts with the available and appropriate material we have on the ground. We had some body bags at the scene, but the remains were so heated that it was not conducive for the bags to be used. It was in a thick forest, it was getting late. We had the option of leaving our remains there to the following day, and we know what could have happened to the bodies.
The Ghana Armed Forces has now secured
So that they just heard from CDS Ejapong, and he said that there were body bags available. It's just that it was just too hot. The bodies were too hot for them to be transported in. So cocoa sacks were the best alternative, they said.
First of all, I have a problem with the men even on the ground. You see, how we respond to emergency situations is one matter. The team that got there, were they professional emergency situation attendees? I mean, attendants, I should say.
No, they weren't.
Perfect. So if they were not, let us grant, and of course, you know the Ghanaian and the culture we find ourselves in. If there's an accident here, Ghanaian wants to help quickly. Even though there will be some who will be taking the photo pictures and whatever, they will also be there. But Ghanaian will also want to say that, look, forgetting that no, there's a way you are trained to even handle somebody who is in a casualty or who is a victim. But first of all, if there was no professional people around or at the ground at that moment, I think it is something we can pardon the situation. Two, when they arrived, yes, indeed, you and I were not there, to borrow the words of Dr. Baumia. Okay? Yes, the professional is saying that there were body bags indeed. And we all know body bags are also plastics. Most of them are plastics. Okay? If it is true that, yes, the human, remnants that they got were hot or too hot to be carried, and you can't, obviously, it stands to reason you can't put in the plastic, whatever. So, bad as it may appear, I want to say that, look, let's just take our emergency response situation important. NADMO is sitting there. How well are we equipping NADMO? Ghana Fire Service is sitting there. How well are we equipping Ghana Fire Service for responses like this, rapid response like this? Okay? How many helicopters or planes do we have sitting for emergency response? I mean, I have to check. I don't know. The last time I checked, they told me even the police one that we have, it's a difficulty. So I'm saying that, look, we should pay heed to the emergency situation response and then also try, when we get to the ground, educate one or two people who want to help or assist in it. Then at the end of the day, we'll get the things done properly.
Okay. Mr. Moni, I mean, when we saw the footages, everybody was in shock that these gallant men, honorable men, and their remains were put in these sacks. But this is the explanation that the CDS is giving. What do you say?
We appreciate the explanation, but it's so late in coming. Timeliness is of essence when it comes to issues of such magnitude. And the time lag that fueled a lot of speculations, conspiracy theories, rumors, counter-rumors, allegations, counter-allegations, and all that. So while we appreciate what he did, our appeal to them, with all due respect, is that next time we need to scale up the speed with which we'll give information to help quieting tempers, and ensure that the people, buy into whatever we fed them, because information is so important. And the timeliness of information is of supreme importance. So it's a wake-up call to all of us, where we fall short as a nation. The time has come for us to wake up. The time has come for us to ensure that we catch up with what we need to do, so that, touch wood, should we find ourselves again in such a situation, will not be found wanting as to the extent we have been exposed now. So.
I wonder that of all the footages that we saw, if there were body bags, why didn't we see at least one in any of the shots? But Mr. Chedia, it's your time now to reflect on this matter.
Yeah, sweetie,
did you see any
sweetie,
in the videos that were circulating?
No.
Yeah.
But anytime questions come up regarding how our comrades, how our fallen heroes were handled, tears begin to flow. And I find it very difficult to discuss this, how they were handled. But we understand that is also part of the investigations. The response time, crime scene management, and all those things will be part of the final report. So I want to hold my brief here until the final report comes. Yes.
Thank you for that, and I appreciate that. So let's spend the remaining 10-15 minutes and get into our newspapers. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, on the helicopter crash, state's funeral for victims tomorrow, yes. And we understand that at 8:30 today, they will be briefing the nation. The funeral committee will be briefing the nation in terms of what roads will be closed, because some roads will be closed to, sort of cordon off the area so we can have a peaceful ceremony. We are ready for Aquatia by-election, September 2nd, EC assures. NDC and NPP will be locking horns, so we're all looking forward to that. And I also have the New Republic, and on the front page, NPP runs from 2 TikTok bombers. Disowns offensive. Oh, so that's the apology that was rendered on that. Gentlemen, what papers do you have and what are the stories on the front page? Most of the stories here we've already dealt with. So, Mr. Moni, let me start.
Daily Guide, Bawumia picks forms, calls for clean campaign. Helicopter crash, Tokonole's wreaths, signs book of condolence. Police arrest MPP serial caller over gun claims. Bafu Boni removes Justice Opon from law school, and Kwauhini celebrate with supporters on the 17th of August. That's the Daily Guide. Yeah.
Any of these pique your interest you want us to talk about? Bawumia picking the forms, it's an interesting one. We have a spokesperson. No, go ahead.
Interesting indeed, but again, this violates the law of timing. If this MPP found it prudent, expedient to withdraw from Tamale Central in consonance with the mood of the nation, I would have expected them to put a pin in their program to elect their next flag bearer. They could have just postponed this. And here we are. This story has overshadowed all other stories. And to me, this is not the most important story here. This is not, we all have our sense of judgment. But there are certain commonalities when it comes to new judgment. And the sweetie will agree with me. So as far as we are concerned as a nation, I beg to differ that Bawumia picking forms is the dominant story now in this nation. It is not.
It's not.
I differ.
It's certainly not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stand.
So the MPP also led them into temptation.
Okay.
By not putting a pin. They could have postponed it. Yeah, to next week. And the value would have been the same.
Well, in his, not defense, but he didn't pick the forms himself.
I think the whole event should have been postponed.
Okay. The filing, the picking of forms, everything.
Yeah. To next week, after the funeral.
But sweetie, have you seen a presidential candidate picking forms himself? It doesn't happen.
You're right.
Quite often.
You're right.
And in this instance, the fanfare with which they said the youth organizes over 400 of them. And for MPP, is from one chaos to another. When nominations are opening and party executives in the official capacities are lead to pick forms for a particular candidate, that is another thing for us to discuss. But
and I agree with the fanfare that's not square with the mood of the
exactly. Yeah. So that is the double standards I was talking about. If on one breath we say we are in a solemn moment, and for that matter, you don't want the chaos associated with elections, but at the same time, a day to or 2 days, or on the very 1 week of this calamity, you have a group of people with brass band or the fanfare going to pick a form for a
Is it an argument
candidate?
we can make that after the 3 days of mourning and we ended it, the combination with that evening of reflection and all that, people are starting to go back to their normal activities? And this party has already shown some good faith by withdrawing from Tamale Central. Is it an argument we can make that they're just going about, you know, their life after?
This argument cannot.
Reflecting with...
Cannot hold water.
Okay.
See, you know, traditionally...
I'll come to you because you speak for the
traditionally,
party,
1 week is very important, and more so. We have just tomorrow to do the state, after state funeral. So for me, we continued yesterday. NEIP had a board meeting, and we observed a minute silence until we finished with a 1 week with a state funeral. I think we're still in a very deep mourning state. Now, sweetie,
let me hear.
You and FT.
Hold on, Mr. Chair, dear, hold on. Was it imperative that you made a ceremony out of yesterday's event the way you did? What necessitated that?
Well, you see, first of all, the law of timing as espoused by Mr. Money has some different approaches. First of all, nobody is saying that we are not in a state of mourning as a country. We are. Dr. Bawumia has shown commitment to it. Former President John Ajokum Kufuor, former President Akufo-Addo, and all the statesmen have shown commitment to it. But how does political party run? Political party, just as any other organization, run on laws governing them. They have a constitution. We have bodies like National Council, Steering Committee, and the National Executive Committee, where we take decisions. And when decisions are taken, timing, back to your law of timing, is put on them. When you open nomination, you have number of days to pick, or you are out of it. It is clear. Now, if these are all instituted, the law of timing here would have an exception, as it were. Okay? So I'm saying that picking the forms, okay, and you are making the argument that it could have been deferred. Whether or not the time that is put on picking the forms you don't pick, can you defer, comes to play. At that point, that is where decisions are not just taken by the General Secretary or the Chairman. When National Council, which is the second highest body in this party, takes a decision, until you convene again the National Council, that decision cannot be departed from. That is how it works. So I'm saying that...
Not even a postponement
No. You don't.
Okay.
And should they please. Since the incident, NDC has put on hold.
No, it's not true. I was coming to that. I listened to your... Is it Dr. Computer or now Mr. Computer? It's Mr. Computer, okay. Yeah. Not more doctor. Okay. I listened to him. Even in the mood of we being in a state of mourning, what he had to say is, we have strategies of Aquatia put in place already by Omanibo before he died. Really? I listened to your own election. This is a comment he made. No, please. It's about you. I did. Your own. You have. I have. Even this morning.
I didn't hear him either. So I have to.
I am saying it emphatically. Look, he's my brother, and I will never lie against him.
What I'm saying.
He did mention that strategy for Aquatia to win Aquatia was actually given to them before Omanibo Amas departed.
And then he mentioned, and I thought that was actually he asked a very important question. That so putting on hold for say 2-3 days.
Oh, would that have? I said it doesn't lie with one person to put on hold. I just answered the question and said, no, this is the body.
But the people who make up the,
so you
national.
You would have to call National Council again and then come back. Everybody comes from the whole country.
Are they not aware of the state or the atmosphere in the country right now?
With all respect, you see,
but they do.
Let me not say this and then we go on. In a can, they have a saying that. I'm not a can, but of course I heard. They say Yeshua, and I don't know what they say. That's one.
What does it?
Two. It means that when there's a funeral, you don't cry forever.
Okay.
That's what it means. Two. When you come
so you're saying there's nothing you could have done.
Let me add this to you. Let me add a very important thing to you. No, just fully.
On the day of funeral, it is unthinkable to organize a party.
There's another comment that you need to know. We, the Gombes, and for that matter, we Northerners, when there's, marriage is a ceremonial, it's a happy situation. Funeral, indeed, is a sober situation. When the two occur at the same time, the advice is go for the marriage first before you attend to the funeral. That is our culture. So I am saying that yes, in as much as we are in a
NPP adopted the culture of...
I'm not, but I'm trying to make it...
So how does that play into the argument?
This has nothing to... I don't even know why we tie this matter into it, because Alfred Money brought the idea of time...
no, because the whole country...
I am trying to say that once there is a going concern, in as much as we are mourning and we are in a state of soberness, it does not take away the fact that we should advance, as it were.
Mr. Treasurer, I wanted to...
Thank you very much. What you were saying in one breath that you are lowering the political temperature in another breath. And Siri, I mean, assuming without maybe accepting the situation that the national executive, whoever is in charge, refuses to postpone, you could have picked the form in a very sober mood, quietly. Go and pick your form. But you don't go with that. In any way, let me deal with my
contributor to pick a form.
Let me deal with.
But you know, but I did that for him.
But whatever they do it.
Okay, let's move on quickly.
So, Business and Financial Times, strong CD, easing inflation, create room for lending expansion. Then Rihanna Foundation commits $500,000 to fund nationwide study on youth opioid abuse. Targeted financing seen as key to Africa's industrial growth.
So, you were struggling to hide your smile lines when you were reading the story on Strong CD. You are so excited.
I've been in a different mood all day. But this brings some little smile. You know how passionate I am with these economic indicators, and the need to have lower lending rates. I keep talking about my constituency, Brikum West, where over 5,000 people are involved in tomato production. They're getting loans at an exorbitant interest rate, over 30%, and that is inimical to productivity. So I've been advocating for lower interest rates, and it's exciting for the Governor of Bank of Ghana to highlight these positive indicators that in the first 7-8 months, the CD has appreciated over 40% against the US dollar. Now we have our reserve in excess of $1 billion. So we are appealing to the banks. We are appealing indeed that the risk of lending has lowered, and customers should benefit from that by having lower interest rates in their lending.
The overseer.
Now, quick one, the overseer, we have at the top, MPP apologizes to Mahama, NDC over affiliated TikTok users' remarks on helicopter crash. Raymond Atoguba appointed GLC's acting director of legal education, Justice Opong reassigned. Defense Ministry assures transparent probe into fatal helicopter crash, and Suparu hails Ghana's digital strides at AI Africa Lab launch. Another story says, thank you for Tamale Central withdrawal, but expect defeat in Aquatia, NDC to MPP. And of course, the other one says, we have lost a brother, a mentor, a light. Dr. Mark Oliver Kevo mourns Dr. Omani Buama. These are the stories on the front page of the Overseer. But of interest has to do with MPP apologizing to NDC for affiliated TikTok comments. Once again, I would reiterate and admonish every single person that we should be, decorous. We should appear circumspect in whatever we say in the media, be it social media or traditional media. And it cuts across, not just MPP. MPP has shown the way. Let NDC also show the way. Recklessness on our social media, the misinformation, the disinformation, is just too much. And I think it's not helping us at all. That,
Mr. Money, final word.
And so what has happened to the MPP communicators should serve as a fountain of lesson from which all communicators across the political divide should drink. And let me say hello to William. William has commented on the acts or misbehavior by these communicators, and is urging training in proactive communication, proactive leadership for all communicators. William well noted, and I believe going forward, all the parties will make it a point, a topmost priority to educate their communicators, not to fall foul of the law.
Thank you. If you can do this in 20 seconds, otherwise we have to go.
With my brother about our comments. As much as the 1992 Constitution, Chapter 5, Clause 21 allows for free speech, we should also be very mindful of the consequences of our actions, because Electronic Communications Act 2008 at 775 has given guidelines for us to be responsible in whatever we see in the electronic space. So we should be very mindful.
The police should not be selective when it comes to this matter, not just attacking.
So those who join us for the conversation this morning, Kamal Adin Abdullah is the Deputy Director for Communications for the NPP. The legislator for Brekum West, Dixon Tredia, also joined us, and Afelmoni is former president of GJ. Thank you, gentlemen. Today,
my name Kamaldeen.
Thank you so much. So we'll take a break now. When we return, I wish you could see, after fighting, they're shaking hands in the studio. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll bring you our big stories on the AM show. We'll be right back.
7:30 a.m. and would continue to 9 a.m. We expect Her Excellency the Vice President to arrive at the funeral grounds at 8:50 a.m. in the morning, and that will be followed by His Excellency the President at 9 a.m. where the state service will then begin. The service is programmed to last for approximately 3 hours, during which period we would take the biographies of the departed 8 colleagues, parents, siblings, and colleagues. After the biographies, we'll take tributes from the widows and then also tributes from the children. There will be other tributes that would be read by some senior government officials. All institutional tributes from the various institutions that our departed comrades work with or associated with will be read during the pre-burial period before 9 o'clock. After the service, the bodies of the 6 that are yet to be buried would be conveyed to the military cemetery at Chado for burial. And there as well, the Ghana Armed Forces, together with the churches of the 6 departed comrades, would take charge of the burial ceremony at the military cemetery. Because of the rather large number of people that will be expected tomorrow, a number of measures have been taken to ensure that we have a very solemn ceremony. So for the media that is here, you would have seen the ongoing setup. We are trying our best to provide as many chairs as we can to accommodate the thousands of people that we expect to join the various families and the government officials here for the service. We are going to label the various canopies appropriately to accommodate those who will be coming. We entreat the public who would want to join us for the service to arrive early and collaborate with the protocol and security officials on ground to assist them to sit. We do not expect people to be crisscrossing the inner perimeter before and during the service. The inner perimeter is going to be locked out to mourners, and the mourners are expected to remain under the canopies for the service. When you come in later today or early tomorrow morning, you would notice the labelings that will be on the various canopies indicating where people are supposed to sit. There will be heavy security deployment, obviously not because the president and the vice president are here, but also for the safety of all mourners that are going to be here. We therefore entreat the mourning public to collaborate with the security officers as it relates to their walking in, their parking, and others. If you are driving in, you will be required to alight at a specific point and walk into the mourning zone, and your vehicle can be parked at a designated car park. If you are driving yourself, then you'd have to go and park and come and walk into the service area. For the cemetery, arrangements have been made
to provide buses to convey the families that would be heading to the military cemetery. The idea is to reduce the traffic en route to the cemetery and also manage the traffic at the cemetery. Because if we allow everybody to just drive in there, the number of vehicles there will be a lot. So buses will be provided to the 6 families to convey them there, and then a few others that would be able to join would join. If you get to the cemetery, please listen to the military police that will be on standby, who would be working on parking and designated areas where we can go and where we cannot go. With relation to the media, I believe that a statement was issued earlier by the Minister of State for Government Communications on arrangements that have been made for this service. And media houses and journalists were required to apply for accreditation. Media houses and journalists that applied and have been accordingly accredited are the only ones that will be allowed in the inner perimeter, which is designated as a special media zone for the service. And that accreditation is for only camera holders, video camera operators, and photographers. They are the only ones that are going to be allowed in the inner perimeter. Reporters and others are not going to be in the perimeter. You are welcome to join the mourners. You are also welcome to use the media stands on this end or on the left end and be able to follow proceedings and report back to your media houses. Allocations have also been made for audio feed to my right behind the stands for radio stations that want to set up for their outside broadcast from here, set up their studios for outside broadcast. You are welcome to set up there and you have audio feed for your work. Television stations that also want to set up and broadcast from here are also welcome to set up behind the left stand very close to the OB van that is there. And feed outlets are going to be available for clean feed of the proceedings here for you to use for your productions. What that means is that your technical teams that are going to be working at the outdoor broadcast locations do not need accreditation. They are welcome to come in and be there. It is only camera operators that would come into the middle that would require accreditation, and they must have it, and we are going to enforce it religiously. The live feed for this program is being centralized, as we've done in the past. So you can get the live feed from the van, and you can go live from there, or you can also choose to just pick the clean feed from the outdoor broadcast channel on the DTH decoder and reach out to your viewers at home or in their offices. We expect that we would all comport ourselves. We will respect the guidelines. We do not want to see tomorrow anybody holding a phone or a monopod and struggling to chase people, chase mourners as they are coming in to come and sit down. We expect a very high level of decorum and solemnity tomorrow morning. And if you are given an accreditation to be in the inner perimeter, do well to come in early, check your audio, ensure that you have the required audio feed that you need, and then also check on the TV feed and be sure that you are okay before the service starts at about 7:30. At this point, I would invite the Air Commodore Okai from the Ghana Armed Forces to provide a briefing on the ceremony, what they are going to be doing as it relates to the military service that we'll be holding here tomorrow. Air Commodore.
Thank you very much, Stan. Good morning to you all. As indicated by Stan, the service will essentially be military in nature. The Ghana Armed Forces has the responsibility of moving our fallen heroes from the morgue to the Blaster Square and then to the military cemetery after the funeral service. The service will be led by the chaplaincy of the Ghana Armed Forces. That does not mean that only ministers, pastors, and imams from the armed forces would be in charge. We would be supported by some of our civilian colleagues, but in essence, it will be a military service. After the service, like I indicated, we'll proceed to the military cemetery. We can all understand that burying 6 fallen heroes at the same time is not the same as burying just one person. And so there would be some unique arrangements and innovations at the cemetery to ensure that our fallen heroes are accorded the highest state respects possible. Please, would like to plead with all of us that both here and at the cemetery, let us follow directions so we can have some order. We will not want a situation where people will be walking in places that they are not expected to be in. Please let us all, at all times, ensure the highest form of discipline. I thank you all.
Thank you very much. I'll now call on Chief Superintendent Obeng, who would also brief us on the road traffic management and parking arrangements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. On this solemn occasion, and particularly from today at midday, traffic police officers will be seen around this vicinity. From this afternoon through the night and through tomorrow, the aim is to ensure that there is free flow of traffic in terms of mourners, family members, and all that have everything to do with this occasion. In light of this, there are certain roads that are going to be managed. So from tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m., traffic police officers will be deployed to manage traffic that are coming from Laboni and Osu through the Independence Square to the Central Business District. What is it is that we will ensure that there is no congestion. And so as and when we view and see that traffic is compounding, certain traffic diversions have been made to deliver these traffic services to routine commuters and residents around Independence Square. Those on La Road, when the road is blocked, will be diverted onto the Oxford Street. Those who are on Local Street joining Castle Road to come to the Independence Square, to the ministries or Makola or through to Jamestown, among others. If the area is choked, will be diverted onto the castle to Independence Avenue through National Theatre onward to Kimbu. The same applies to our routine road users from Jamestown on the Professor John Evans at Mills High Street. If they are not coming to monitor that and the traffic is choked, we will assist them and divert them onto the Liberia Road from the SEPS headquarters through to Ministry Traffic Light to National Theatre. There are so many roads that are there for them to also access the city and their various destinations. Again, those that are from Kimbu who want to just traverse the Independence Square and if the place is choked, traffic police officers and equipment are on hand at Ministry Traffic Lights to assist them and divert them onto the Independence Avenue again. What is that we have designated a lot of car parks to serve mourners and all that has everything to do with this event. We have one of the biggest car park reserve prepared with police officers going to be deployed at the Great car park on my left outside this Black Star Square. Again, we have enough parking space for dignitaries that are designated as VIP and VVIPs, among others, behind this arch. We have enough space to also accommodate them. We have car parks around the stadium. We have some at Access Car Park. We have also some at the frontage of the State House. If there is even a spillover, we have secured a Sutherland area to support this service. Again, we are deploying a lot of recovery trucks and towing vehicles so that vehicle or drivers who will leave or abandon or get their vehicle broken down, that will lead to obstruction and unnecessary congestion. Such services will be delivered and such vehicles will be moved to our Kimbu, to our to-do office at the Central Business District, Central MTTU, for collection. We've also put in place measures to collaborate with our counterparts in the military to deliver traffic services on the Bush Road at where we have the military cemetery. We have enough car park to accommodate those who will be coming, and police officers will be on hand. It is clear that on such occasion, we need a lot of police deployment to saturate and to be ready to partner and assist to direct, control, and park vehicles so that there will not be obstruction and congestion, because tomorrow is also a working day for those public servants who are working in this ministry enclave and who have to access this area, and then other routine road users who also patronage the CBD and crisscross the Accra city using the 28th February Road and Professor John Evans at Mills High Street, and also Barnes Road and Liberia Road and Castle Road. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll take some questions and clarifications at this minute. So if you have any questions and clarifications, we'll do that. But before that, I'd like to invite Lakai back on the stage. You wanted to make some clarification? No. Oh, okay. Sorry. Right. So questions, please. No questions? Right. Done.
So Ghana is mourning, and I'm sure you've heard those directives there as to how tomorrow's event will be. We will be here on Joy News. We'll bring you the entire coverage of that very solemn event tomorrow to celebrate or to mark the final burial of the 6 remaining fallen men tomorrow here on the Joy News channel. But away from that, let's talk about something that will, interest all of us, something that gets towards building this particular country of ours in terms of our history. And I've been joined in the studio by 2 people, one gentleman and one lady. Dr. Martin Egleogbe is director of the Writers Project Ghana. Rhoda Asare is coordinator of Abena Quantima Oral History Prize, and that's why we're here to talk about that particular prize. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Trust all as well. Abena, for those of us who are hearing about this Abena, Rhoda, who are hearing about the Abena Quantima Oral History Prize, would ask, what is it?
Okay, so it's a prize set up for women that are 65 years and above to speak about history. We all know that during that time, men had the advantage of going to school more than women. So we know that women have a lot of things to talk about pertaining to history, pertaining to their personal life, things pertaining to the community, society, or the country as a whole. So this is a prize set up for them to have that opportunity to talk about it. And when you speak about these things, you get the opportunity to also win some money.
Okay.
Basically, yes.
So it's open to everybody?
No, for women.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So all women from 65. Okay. Yes. Is this the first time we're doing it?
No. This is like the 9th year.
Ah.
Yes.
So tell me about the previous ones.
So we've had different submissions from all parts of Ghana, and the good thing about it is you can submit in any language. Ghanaian language, actually, and we'll transcribe.
Are you sure if I submit in a hunter, you
Yes, because we would need your ID to prove it.
And you can transcribe from a hunter to your language. Yes.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to that as well. You know, in the past we've actually had languages that would be quite difficult to translate, but we've always overcome that hurdle.
Okay.
And as she said, what we are looking for is women who are a bit more mature, 65 and above, to be able to relay bits of history that they've lived through. I mean, you just mentioned the tragic events that we have all been observing. Somebody living through this and being able later on to narrate this for the record is the kind of thing we are looking for.
Okay.
You know, so, but then the people who enter the prize can be anyone. So you can go and record a more mature woman who is 65, but then it's the one narrating the story is 65 and over. And we want all languages, actually. We prefer it in a more natural language, the language which is natural to the person narrating. So we do our best to do the translations because the judges should judge in English, essentially, so that it's even across board. So we include English, but we also include all Ghanaian languages as well.
Interesting. So, I mean, entering, it has to come in a recorded form.
Exactly.
Not written.
No.
Is there a length or a duration you're looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the recording should be 15 to 25 minutes long.
Okay.
Yes, and you can record with any recording device. It just has to be clear and audible. Yes.
And do you have themes that people should record or anything about Ghana's history?
So our preference is for experiences that they lived through. And we are focusing more on things that are social, political, community-based, that sort of thing. We want to move a little bit away from personal histories, you know, telling the story about yourself, except if it connects very strongly with something that has happened in the community,
something that affected the nation that you lived through and are able to give a first-hand experience about. We have a higher value for those. Those are more likely to place higher because it's a competition, of course. But apart from that, for us, it's most important that we get a record of this history. As Rhoda mentioned, many of these more mature women may not be able to have the advantage of education to write, but then they still are valuable observers of history, and we need to get that record down before, maybe age takes them away. So that is why we feel that this is a really very important prize, and I encourage everyone to join. Rhoda has already mentioned that we want recordings using any device. You can record on WhatsApp, and then just forward it to us. I can give some details as to how people can get the WhatsApp line and all that, so that they can just forward to us, and then we will enter them into the program. So yeah, so that is what it is, and the deadline is approaching. We are anticipating to receive all entries by the 31st of August. The prizes will be awarded in October, precisely the 19th of October, 2025, and we can be very sure about that because it's actually going to occur during the Peja Literary Festival, and we always award the prizes at that time. So yes, so that's what it is. We want everybody to be engaged in this because everyone knows a woman who is a bit more mature. There are very important stories that they may have witnessed, and if we don't get a record of these things now, it's going to go away. And Rhoda has already hinted that this is a competition that has a prize, So last year's winner actually came from Kumasi. I just forget what the title of her oral history was, but we want presentation from all across the country.
So if someone records, where does the person send it?
Yeah, so ideally they can send it to our email address, which is info. So they can make an attachment, info@writersprojectghana.com. Yeah. Or they can send it to us by WhatsApp, and the WhatsApp numbers, unfortunately, they'll have to check up online. If you look at our website, writersprojectghana.com, or follow us on social media, you will find a WhatsApp number which you can send the recording to.
All right. Okay, Rhoda, I always want to call it.
Actually, I'm
Oh, you also have So just as we're about to wrap up, what will be your concluding remarks?
I would urge everybody to partake in it. This is important, and as Dr. Martin said, we need to keep this history before they pass away, because there are a lot of people, by submissions that we've had in the previous years, you see that there are a lot of rich history that people lived through that if given the opportunity they would talk about it. And we know our old ladies like talking, so giving them the opportunity they would do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Doc, your parting words.
Yes, so what I will just add is that it's something which is also fun, because it will get you, if you're a young person, it will get you to engage with the older generation. And it's actually a good thing, it builds family. You get to hear what they have to share. And you'll find out that maybe your grandmother may become your best friend.
Actually, just when you said it, I just wrote it. I need to go and record my grandmother.
Yes, let's all
right, so that's Dr. Martin Dogbe.
Well, I can help you with the pronunciation.
He's the director of Writers Project Ghana. Rhoda Sarah is coordinator, Abna Kwatma Oral History Prize. And that's it there. But just before we go, let me say a special birthday to you, Justice Jones. You are my brother, and I love you. You are in Jabin Chrome. Today is your birthday, Justice Jones of Jabin Chrome. Wonderful guy. Have a blessed birthday, Justice. Uzoma anda ya wadibi na momi. Once ma anda na mama hamro kanyamri yira yo kezire edonwanu no na ibijao zo adum ko eba ho adum bebre na de bla ne hobo nti nne yes celebrate baba de bla hobo mama. But you know what? As the nation finally bids farewell to the gallant men tomorrow, we'll bring you a total recall of events thus far. You remember that it was Wednesday when we didn't hear that, the news that wasn't very pleasant. But we are chronicling every event since then till now. May the souls of the departed rest in perfect peace.
Vice President Professor Nanaji Opukwajiman, who is with us here, I have the unpleasant duty, sadly, to announce a national tragedy involving the crash of a military helicopter this morning around the Adansi area in Ashanti region. Government, thank you.
And Highways Minister Kwame Agboja, also is the Environment Minister, Environment Energy Transition Minister Fifi Kwete. He cannot speak. You see Kasela Tufosin, Finance Minister, also there in your short, having a conversation with Energy Transition Minister, Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu. Mr. Idrisu, condolences to you. How did you?
Tragic departure of our colleagues in the service of our country. They were on their way to Obuasi to launch the cooperative mining initiative. The president is down emotionally. We pray that God will give him the fortitude and the Ghanaian people to accept this tragic loss. Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Nana, is now leading a government delegation to formally, but albeit with difficulty, go and convey the sad passing of our colleagues, Dr. Mani Buama, Dr. Mutala Muhammad, Al-Haji Lemuna, Al-Haji Mutala Muhammad, and comrades Sapong. So the Vice President have constituted a team, one led by Julius Debra, National Chairman to Koforidua, supported by the Army Commander. And the other team will visit the two other families, and the family will visit Takoradi tomorrow. Do accept our sympathies and condolences. Very difficult moment for all of them.
Vice President Professor Nana Opukwajiman ended that very sad responsibility that has come on her shoulder to go about talking to people about this very tragic incidents involving the Ministers of State, public officials who had gone out there to serve their country and had lost their lives. So the Vice President just left. More and more government officials who are here are just about to leave. Our understanding is that this very solemn and very sad tour led by the Vice President and very senior government officials has just come to an end. There are 3 officials involved who are here in Accra. The families have been gone to, they've been informed officially. The burial right, especially for Alhaji Limuna and Alhaji Mutala Muhammad, who are Muslims, are going to follow shortly. That is going to be announced pretty shortly. And so when it comes to the other persons, we know that most of them are domiciled in the Ashanti region. The parliamentary candidate for Boise East for 2024 for families in Kumasi, as well as the vice chair, who is also in the Ashanti region, they will also be gone to. And so currently, that duty tour of the vice president, having to go out there and break this very unfortunate and very sad news, has come to an end at Alhaji Limuna's house. The vice president actually, after speaking to the larger family outside, actually did go inside and spoke to the wife and children of Alhaji Limuna, spoke to them personally about how the president of the republic is sending his deepest condolences, and he would have wished to be here himself to pass on this message. But the president is not in a good place. He's very affected because these are persons he had appointed into his administration to help him serve and deliver on his responsibilities as president. And it's almost like the president feels a certain sense of responsibility and a certain sense of blameworthy because these persons were out there performing functions of state. They met the untimely death. And so a lot more people we expect very soon are going to take their leave from here or go there. You see the roads minister, Kwame Agboja, just about to go in there and take his vehicle. And more of these government officials are now going to make their way from this place just around down south, close to Nana Krom, where Alhaji Limuna's family lived. As part of this digital, the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasela Tufosin, Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Agboja, the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Kwete, the Chief of Staff of the Vice President, all of them part of this digital that have been here to inform the families of the public officials involved of this very tragic incident that has claimed the life of top 5 government officials, as well as 3 persons in the military who shepherded the military on this visit to Obuasi for this government event that has just ended.
Reporting live from Bofuedru. Actually, we understand that Sikaman is the adjoining community from here, and so once you get to Sikaman, you now come to Bofuedru, and then we have a pitch forest that is right behind us where the incident happened, and where we are reporting that some government officials, that's the environmental minister and also the defense minister, have been confirmed dead in this particular incident. The plane was heading, or the helicopter was heading for Obuasi. But I have an eyewitness for us. But before that, you can see quite a number of people have gathered. That's the community folks here who have gathered to commiserate with the people. We also have some government officials. I have cited the Kumasi mayor, that's Ejenim Boateng, the Kumasi Mayor Kinzoba, he is here, and also I've also cited the Deputy National Security Coordinator for the Ashanti region, Tapsoba, also here. All of them are making frantic efforts to go into the deep forest to ascertain circumstances. And already, as we reported, the Ashanti Regional Minister left the scene. That was the responsive community mining event, and then went and came right here at this community. And so they have taken lead into the forest to ascertain circumstances. But I have this gentleman here with me when the incident happened, and he will tell us what really happened when he went there to see the site. But Okoye no then is here and Nanope.
Nanope about 9:30 to 10. Ti ewa fumudo. Need to say pruning eba. Like pruning sound eba until that's like person at the badu say BBS. Ti mka chimi nyam say yen hwe be pruning beko. Ti wodin be tem mi say pruning crash of the cinema. Na mka chimi nyam say no. Pruning na crash nte be ya yen fe vi na yem say be yen gofo bi aka yen ho na start say e ko je chia. Ti o be within 5 seconds say boys be motor baby say motor bi crash nti be say mo boy net mo go hwe ti ene etewu fam be within be 2 hours in hu ti egusu ehwa ti ko forest bi deep forest te ko say say be bia e PTS no e bia betima e ho a ti ampampa ye kwa na hu say hu say ampanso ko hu say motor no your head no ebubuo fomoa te ko enu se emunu de emunu nash baba ko pe nu se na dawo but mo tu really baba 5 no be we da no omo da jam but ba ko pe de oda nchem and we dey do se baba 5 de match we be ba ko na de on challenge ko.
So as you can see in your shots, that's the Kumasi Mayor Kinzuba. He is also trying to go into the forest to ascertain circumstances over there, what really happened in the forest. retrieved by the military and security personnel who went to the site to see what currently happened at the scene. We understand that the wreckage is still mounted on the one of the trees over there, and they are trying to retrieve the parts of the wreckage of the helicopter and also transport them to wherever. And we understand that the bodies have been packed inside a sack. But I want to confirm from the deputy security coordinator for the Ashanti region, and he is here with me. I want to find out from you. I just saw some sacks pass by. Can you confirm to us these are the bodies or the charred remains of the 8 persons that you retrieved from the site?
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, I can confirm to you that what you saw a while ago in those sacks are the remains of senior officers that were involved in the crash this morning. Originally, they were scheduled to join us at Obuasi for the launch of the responsible mining, community mining, but unfortunately, they couldn't make it to the scene. And national security, the military, the police, and other sister agencies were at the scene. It's been a very long day, very stressful. It takes you more than 2 hours to climb the mountains, to get to the top, and also, carry those bodies downstairs. Currently, we have asked everybody to leave the scene to allow the experts to come and then assess the situation and give us a comprehensive report with regards to what really transpired or what really happened at the scene.
Okay, so now that these bodies have been retrieved, where are they going to now?
We are taking them to the morgue for possibly a decision by the superior or decision makers. Ours is to evacuate the bodies from here to the morgue or probably the hospital where probably a postmortem and other examinations can be done to identify, because you were there, you also saw them, they were then beyond recognition. So I think we have to employ scientific means to identify those bodies and see who is who before it can be released to the respective families.
Wilson Yeboah, who is the Deputy Security Coordinator for the Ashanti region. Well, I also have the Assembly member for the area. When the incident actually happened, he moved to the scene. Daddy, when we say we scene, what then I will call you here?
Said the work and pay Bob 10:28. The information say plane be a crash for a scene. Tell me, Rashiko.
Oh, you
call you say I'm passing the material and Yanti and coin. Na eject the plane ash helicopter ash body so ash.
Quite a troubling day, and we are everywhere because our reporters have also been to the house of the late Dr. Sapong, where we've been interacting with the wife. I mean, visuals from the family is one that you find little words to be able to describe. And on your screen now is the site where this helicopter crashed. You see people there trying to take videos of what they see there, and God goodness me. I mean, sometimes you watch these visuals and you lack the right words to describe them. But as I said, we are everywhere. We are in the homes of people who have lost beloved ones, and would touch base with our reporters to bring you exactly what's happening. How can we make sense of this? Completely shattered. Our life Our life in this world is but a walking shadow. So teach us to number our days, Lord, what we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. Fare thee well, our fallen patriot. Rest in peace in the bosom of your Maker.
Yeah.
May we surely meet again at the Lord's feet.
And what you see on your screens now are the bodies that have been retrieved, being transported. And Bright Kweku will join us and fill us in pretty shortly. So that convoy you see there is the convoy that is transporting the bodies to a location. We don't know where exactly just yet, and Bright will tell us. And Bright has been following this all day. He's the only journalist to go deep into the forest. That there is a convoy arriving in town, I believe somewhere in Obuasi, but it's going to be traveling possibly to Kumasi and possibly to Accra. And because it's a defense minister that is involved here, it will be beyond imagination that this may end up at the 37 Military Hospital where the bodies may be kept and where the DNA may be done. But we'll get clarity pretty shortly when Bright joins us.
When the casket is moving towards the cutter flag and it passes in front of you, I request that all military personnel pay the appropriate compliments as they pass by to the cutter flag. The firing party is now ready. For us to pay the appropriate compliments as the casket moves into position. Second cutter flag will now commence movement to the aircraft. Second bearer party will now commence movement to the aircraft.
Tears among some members of the Ghana Armed Forces who are here. Of course, some of these pilots and flight crew were their colleagues. They operated together from this Air Force base every day, operating and performing their responsibilities as members of the Ghana Armed Forces. And today, some of their colleagues went out there this morning and have not returned. A very tragic accident. And so, just in front of me, I see two members of the Ghana Armed Forces in an embrace, really in tears.
now move to the laying of flowers in memory of fallen comrades. First to do that will be His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. Next, we'll have Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Next, we'll have the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana.
Head of the Immigration Service, Head of Fire Service, Head of the Ghana Immigration Service, as well as the Head of the Prison Service. You see Frank Anadompre together with some members of the New Patriotic Party who are all coming in and greeting, exchanging pleasantries with guests who have already arrived here. The Deputy Minority Leader Patricia PJ, also there are a couple of MPP MPs. You also see the General Secretary of the Opposition New Patriotic Party.
The beauty of Israel is lain upon the high places. How are the mighty fallen? Tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the street of Ashkelon. How are the mighty fallen, and the weapons of war perished. 2 Samuel 1:19-27. The tragic passing of 5 towering stalwarts of the National Democratic Congress struck like lightning from a clear sky, shaking both the NDC and the nation at large. News of their death was met initially with disbelief, but then sunk in and has left very deep grief in the hearts of the NDC. Even after confirmation, the reality remains very difficult to accept. Why must the good, the selfless, and the brave depart so soon? the answer remains elusive. Dr. Edward Omanibuama, until his passing, was in charge of the NDC Electoral Directorate. And his contribution was enormous. He was the very heart of everything that we did as far as the day-to-day electoral activity of the party was concerned. May his memory be a blessing. Dr. Ibrahim Mutala, from his time as Secretary General of the All African Student Union, through Parliament to becoming first a Deputy Minister, an MP, first in Nanton in 2012, and now Tamale Central, remains a true comrade, a man who loves to go by the title Comrade Mutala, which reflected his deep belief in solidarity and collective struggle. Dr. Samuel Sapon, a stalwart of our party in the Ashanti region, forged through the PNDC era, and as a former police officer, that discipline, punctuality, reliability, and sense of duty stayed with him throughout until his untimely demise. He was a dependable servant of the party, a man who truly embodied service above all. Alhaji Muhammad Muniru Limona, a devout Muslim, philanthropist, seasoned public servant, a deep and strong member of our party. We want to remember his memory as well and pray that his memory remains a blessing. Honorable Samuel Abwaji Kweku Edu, who rose to contest the Obuasi's East parliamentary seats both in the 2020 and 2024 election, and subsequently was appointed by President Mahama to become the Deputy Director General of NADMO, where he served with energy until his untimely passing. May his memory be a blessing as well. These five men embodied the very lifeblood of our party, each unique yet united by their commitment to our party's ideals. They shone brightly in the public eye and worked diligently to ensure that NDC is where we are today. In that final moment, the journey that took them was the journey that centered around gold. How gold has become, instead of a blessing that it was meant to be for our country, it has become a means by which poison is affecting our country's waters, forests, lands, which is the very degeneration that has happened to our country. Their lives have been lost in an effort to ensure that gold again became a true blessing for our country. What we can do in order to honor their memory is to ensure that this battle is waged until gold again become a true essence of this beautiful nation. Gold become the true embodiment of what this nation was meant to become. A true golden nation that is supposed to inspire not just the West African region, Africa and beyond. May the Almighty grant them eternal rest. May their memories remain a light for all who labor in the vineyard of our great party. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy shall come in the morning. Kiddes may go, kiddes may come, but the fire of the revolution shall abide. Thank you.
The President of the Republic of Ghana, please allow me to stand on the protocol established. time for the right thoughts because there are none. Many of us here have experienced our departed colleagues in different places and times, in many ways and forms, even contexts, however momentarily, however lengthy. Those experiences now crystallize into memories, those that we now hold and those that we can latch on to. But the conclusions always cuts both ways. Should we ask our colleagues, who usually would have been with us at public events such as this, I believe they would have their stories too, personal, formal, intimate or otherwise, of their encounters with us, those who mourn them today. Just that we cannot hear their voices, we cannot share their narrative now, but we recognize the quality of the material they brought to the national table, which is the agenda for development. They have played their roles, and admirably so. They have served their nation and humanity well. How about us? What we feel, and palpably so, is the bewilderment, the confusion, the anger, the sadness, the denial, the grief, maybe acceptance at some point. What we know now are emotions that are expressing themselves from many quarters, including grieving parents, family members, siblings, wives, children, colleagues, neighbors, friends, and many others. And many more others who never knew them, but who hurt anyway. We have a nation in mourning. What we anticipate is a demand for answers. Abiding questions may include, why is this happening? Why did this happen? Why now? Why then? What should we do? What should we know? What are the lessons? How should we learn the lessons? How should we apply them? This is definitely not a time for distasteful gloating over the misfortune, for postulation. This is not a time for apportioning blame. It is a time for sober reflection, of paying attention to detail and to facts. A time for ensuring that mishaps are avoided going forward. It is a time for considering if the unhelpful barriers we consciously continue to build and maintain, which persistently divide us as a people, is worth the effort. It is a time for wishing our colleagues who have perished in the line of duty peaceful rest. It is a time for praying for comfort for their families and for everyone. It is a time too for the rest of us, all of us, to renew our pledge to work in ways that truly advance our country, as they have tried to do. Quote, Father, in thy gracious keeping, leave we now your servants sleeping. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, Your Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Mrs. Lodina Mahama, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban S.K. Bagbin, the Acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, and Justices of the Supreme Court and members of the Judiciary, Your Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Ghana, John Agyekum Kufuor, Your Excellency, the former Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Chief of Staff, Minister of State, senior government officials, the National Chairman, General Secretary, and members of the National Democratic Congress, members of the Council of State, members of the clergy, both Christian and Muslim, traditional leaders, heads of security services, members of the diplomatic corps, heads of international organizations and agencies, families of our gallant fallen heroes, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, the good people of Ghana. We gather tonight under a cloud of shared grief, our hearts heavy with the profound sorrow that has gripped our nation. The news of the helicopter crash at Adansia Foam, which tragically claimed the lives of 8 of our beloved citizens, all of whom were proudly serving our great nation, has shattered us to the core. Our nation is indeed in deep mourning. In my official capacity as President of the Republic of Ghana, I wish to extend the sincerest condolences of our nation to the bereaved families, the spouses and children who have lost pillars in their lives, the parents, the siblings grappling with the unimaginable pain, and the countless friends, colleagues, and community members who cherish these dedicated individuals. Ladies and gentlemen, we come together tonight not solely as a nation divided by regions, ethnic groups, or political parties, but as a nation of brothers and sisters held together by the fundamental understanding that we are indeed each other's keepers. Each one of us stands at the center of a vast network of people that extends beyond any single region or ethnic group. That was precisely the case with our 8 brothers we have just lost. Combined, I'm certain that the communities that they touch span the entire width and breadth of this nation, creating an interconnected tapestry of human relations. We're truly one seamless, unified family, and therefore we must not only mourn as one, but commit to healing as one. The ultimate sacrifice, though painful beyond measure, serves as a powerful reminder of the profound work that remains to be done for Ghana. We know with absolute certainty that they will not want us to be paralyzed by grief. Indeed, they will be the first to urge us to pick up the mantle, to channel our sorrow into renewed determination to get the work done. This is precisely the spirit behind Resetting Ghana agenda. A comprehensive call to reevaluate, to rebuild, and to reignite our collective ambition for a stronger, more prosperous nation. It demands courage, innovation, and an unwavering belief in our shared destiny. Let us therefore transform this profound sorrow into a catalyst for action. Let us honor their memories not just with tears, but with renewed dedication to the very ideals that they lived and died for. Let us recommit ourselves to working tirelessly, transcending our differences and focusing our energies on the monumental task of nation building. They served Ghana with their last breath, and it is our sacred duty to continue that service, to build the Ghana they wanted, a Ghana of opportunity, justice, and prosperity for all our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks the end of the 3 days of mourning that was declared for our fallen colleagues. We move from grieving to accepting our loss. Following the positive identification of the bodies of our deceased brothers, we will lay the first 2 of our comrades to rest tomorrow at the military cemetery at Chado. Consultations with families will determine the burial dates of the remaining colleagues. This is the enduring legacy they would expect, the progress they would demand. In closing, I would like to leave you with the poignant words of another native son of ours, one who served this country well, and who was also taken from us suddenly and in an equally violent and shocking manner. And the brief poem is titled, The Journey Beyond. And this son of ours is Professor Kofi Awuno, who was a former member of the Council of State. And I quote, he says, the howling cry through the doorposts, carrying boiling pots, ready for the feast. Kutsiami, the benevolent boatman, when I come to the river shore, please ferry me across. I do not have tied in my cloth the price of your stewardship, unquote. I'm certain countrymen and women that at the end of their passage, our 8 comrades will be met and welcomed on the other shore of the river by Professor Kofi Awuno, who wrote that poem, His Excellency Professor John Evans Atamils, Madame Theodosia Salome Oko, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and all the other past great sons and daughters of our dear nation, Ghana. May the souls of our comrades and colleagues rest in perfect peace. May God bless their families and all who knew and loved them. And may God continue to bless our beloved homeland, Ghana. I thank you.
We are so heartbroken. We are and to soldier on and continue from their family and from the nation. Dominic Fadwe to the family.
I encountered Mutala in so many ways because he was a student activist and I was an activist too. And so I recall I had interest in SRC in Legon, and of course eventually ran for SRC presidency in Legon. And he also ran at a point in time. So there was a long we were doing together, a General Assembly. And so I recall I had interest in SRC in Legon, and of course eventually ran for SRC presidency in Legon. And he also ran at a point in time. So there was a long we were doing together, a General Assembly, and forth and back. And he was such a fantastic, young leader that we all looked up to.
It is a sad day indeed. Their loss has been in very tragic circumstances. And what really goes through my mind is a loss to their families, the spouses, the children. They must feel it more extensively, more completely than the rest of us.
My brother, let me say, within this period, the first shocking accident was 16 people who lost their lives when they were coming from a crusade. That was a particular church. Then followed by these 8 gallant heroes that we are mourning. And it has become like a cloud on the nation. Is it the airspace that is safe? Is it by land that is safe? Or where is the safety for us now?
As MPs, I think you know how our offices are. We share the space for visitors and all that, And people are always coming in to see him and all that. And he was a very intelligent person, very well learned, and in Arabic. He was also very learned in his religion. I don't know what level you call it, whether sheikhs or whatever, but Mutala was definitely one of those. Very learned in Arabic, in the Quran. And he had really read in depth, aside from his PhD in political science and all that, he was just cutting across. And he was a very good extempore speaker.
today tells us, from what the president has said, from all the other dignitaries have said, it tells you that in the end, all that we have left is memories. And therefore, when we are here, we should lead an exemplary life. We should be each other's keeper. We should work for this nation.
We have all come from Allah, and to whom we shall all return. And that is what I expect my good friend, my good brother, my nephew, Honorable Dr. Mutala Muhammad Ibrahim. This is what he expects from me. 3 days ago, when we were going to send
Amin. 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 آمين. نعم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. صلاة على النبي.